If you've ever bought a beverage cooler for a weekend at a lake house, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. It's hump day, it's the middle of the week, and it is also the day where we get a lot of big tech earnings. Those are incoming tonight between Google, Tesla, and IBM. We'll see what that does for the market. Let me know if you have any trades on that. That is for sure. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. Love the energy that's already in the chat. We're going to get this bad boy rolling. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Wednesday edition for July 22nd, 2026, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. It's great to see everybody again for another market day as we navigate our way through hump day here today. It is Tim Melvin Day. Y'all should be excited about that. I'm sure you are. We've got more trades to make here today. We got the bot changes developed and shipped and ready to go for another day here today. Found out yesterday that I had a guardrail put in where if you made 2 consecutive losses on 0 DTE trades, it stopped trading for the morning. So that's why we got 2 yesterday, because we were stopped out of our first 2. I've adjusted the logic a bit. We'll see where we get here today. Good to see a whole bunch of returning faces. This one makes me smile. Ed is first here today. Number 1. Yes, victory is mine. Good morning and good luck. Indeed, victory is yours here today. Early bird gets the worm, Ed. You did it. You did it. Good to see you. Yes, that girl. Good morning. Welcome back. Zach McCracken. Good morning. Welcome back. Every day is a lesson, Zach. Every day is a lesson. We are lifelong learners around these parts here. Peter, good morning. It's good to see you again. Crispy Biscuit. Good morning. Robert, good morning. Richard Judge. Good morning. Richard Judge says, have a Coke and smile. Can't do it, Judge. Quit drinking soda years ago for my health, and I'm not going back. Can't have a soda. How about a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, or some water? That'll work for me. Lion Atlas, good morning. Let's go. You're here early. That's awesome. I'm assuming you're going to take a nap 10 minutes after the market opens. Let me know. Whisk, good morning. Welcome back. Patchi, it's good to see you. Welcome. Good afternoon. Richard Judge, another kind of funny comment here. Where do you reside? Patchi tells us every day that he resides from Belgium. It's been a long-standing thing here, and we appreciate it. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning. Indeed, it is Tim Melvin Day. Azrar, good morning. It's good to see you again. Producer, thanks for locking in and helping out with everything. Lion Atlas, Don Ive Jr. It's actually Dan Ives. It's Don Ive. It's Dan Ives. You were close, though, so we'll go with that. Jim, good morning. Welcome back. Solitary Soldier, good morning. Welcome back. Marionette, it's great to see you again. Welcome back. Dara, good morning. Dara, did you order that cat toy? I want a full report on how your cats like it. Kimosabi, good morning. Welcome back. Linda, it's great to see you again. Welcome back. Carlos, welcome back. Sergeant Sexy, welcome back. We got together. Good morning. Drew LFG, good morning. Drew, love the energy. It helps fire me up. Hopefully it helps others in the chat as well. Matthew, good morning. Wiss, yeah, just try refreshing. We don't have any delay or anything set. Try refreshing, see if you get closer there. Jeff, good morning. Creation, good morning. Cam, good morning. Just passing through, good morning. Tyler and Dirkus, good morning. Janie, it's good to see you again. Good morning. Harlugo, it will be a perfect day. Good morning. The positivity right now is palpable. I love it. I love it. AC, good morning. Up 30, good morning. Captain Cloudy, good morning. Derek, good morning. Cynthia, good morning. Virgin, good morning. I'm new here, so Virgin is new here. Cool. Welcome. Hopefully you enjoy yourself. Let me know if there's anything you want to take a look at here today. Kelly, good morning. G-Cord, good morning. Unpopular Truth, good morning. Rooster, good morning. Built back cash yesterday, solid swings. We will take that. We will take that, Rooster. Good morning and welcome back. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. Weakness across the board here today, at least so far this morning ahead of Wednesday's open. S&P futures down 0.39%, the Dow futures down 0.24%, and the NASDAQ leading the way lower, minus 0.92%. Now, we are near the pre-market lows, too, so we'll see if we end up breaking that and moving lower. As a reminder, no data here today. Now, let's take a look at some cues from last session, as well as what we have going here today. Healthcare, information technology, and energy stocks recorded the biggest gains on Tuesday, while communication services and consumer staple stocks bucked the broader market trend to close the session lower. U.S. stock futures tied to the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P 500 indices fell on Wednesday following Tuesday's higher close. Chip stocks were under pressure after stocks like NVIDIA, ticker NVDA, Micron Technology, ticker MU, and Broadcom, ticker AVGO, slipped in the pre-market trading following those gains we saw on Tuesday. At the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting in the Philippines, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said, quote, "The problem we're having right now is that they're not serious about talks," end quote. And he's, of course, referring to Iran. This pushed crude oil prices higher. Tech optimism offsets anxieties surrounding the Iran conflict and U.S. trade policy. However, on Monday, President Trump sparked renewed trade war fears by imposing 50% tariffs on select Canadian goods, including beer, milk, and chemicals, as well as hockey sticks. Additionally, during a Senate hearing, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth defended a $70 billion supplemental funding request as the Pentagon raised its estimated cost of the U.S.-Israel war against Iran to $37.5 billion. And of course, Alphabet, ticker GOOGL or GOOG, Tesla, ticker TSLA, IBM, ticker IBM, and Texas Instruments, ticker TXN, are all set to report Wednesday after the closing bell. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.62%, and the 2-year bond was at 4.25%. The CME Group's Fed Watch Tool projections show markets pricing a 78.1% likelihood of the Federal Reserve leaving the current interest rates unchanged during July's meeting. Now, we've got several stocks in focus here for you today. The first one is going to be ARR Corp. The ticker is actually AIR. It slipped 5.51% in the pre-market on Wednesday, despite reporting upbeat earnings for the fourth quarter. It reported quarterly sales of $928 million, which beat the analyst consensus estimate of $868.54 million. The next stock on our list is going to be Capital One Financial, and the ticker is COF. It was up 0.41% after reporting better than expected second quarter results after Tuesday's closing bell. The next stock on our list is going to be Adtran Holdings, and the ticker is ADTN. It fell 11.86% as its preliminary revenue and non-GAAP operating margin came in below the guidance range. Preliminary EPS was expected below analyst consensus for the second quarter of 2026. The next stock on our list is going to be Super Micro Computer, ticker SMCI. It jumped 15.33% after the company provided strong preliminary results for the fourth quarter. The last stock on our list is going to be Nuve Holdings. The ticker is NVVE. It gained 12.45% following a Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, disclosure that the California-based green energy technology company terminated its warrant exchange and registration rights agreement, both dated May 12th. All right, let's take a look at the SPY chart. Let's figure out where we're at. It's not going to take long because we're in the same spot we've been in for some time now, and that spot is called sideways. We continue to trade sideways here. SPY is down 0.38% here in the pre-market. We are still above the 50-day moving average, so you can look at that as a positive. We are below 748, which is a recent level that we marked off as being important. That key level likely going to come back into play today if we trade up at all. If we don't trade up today, we want to monitor the close of SPY around that 50-day moving average. Again, that value is 744.56. So if you want to look at it as 744.5, that makes sense to me. Can we close above that and hold that here, or do we end up dipping beneath that? If we do, the next support area that I have is 740. That's a level that we have marked off from multiple days. If we take a look at the actual SPY itself, you might also want to look at yesterday's intraday low, which I have right around 744.22. So we'll see which area provides some support. I guess you could probably also look at 741.5. That would have been the intraday low from Monday this week. We'll see if this weakness persists or if we get any type of reversal. Remember, on days like this where the market is a little bit weak in the pre-market, it should actually help us find relative strength for upside trades. That's one of the things that I will be looking at here today. Now, let's take a look at some insights from analysts and see what they think here today. Professor Jeremy Siegel views the current U.S. economy and stock market as expanding at a resilient, healthy pace, characterizing the recent pullback in speculative tech shares as a mature shift rather than a market downturn. Regarding the broader economy, Siegel highlights resilient GDP growth projected around 2 to 2.5% and moderating inflation, noting that, quote, housing inflation is finally slowing in a meaningful way, end quote. This keeps the core disinflation on track provided energy prices stabilize. While money supply growth and rising oil prices pose minor inflation risks that could spark additional Fed policy tightening, overall fundamentals remain robust. On the stock market, Siegel sees the sharp rotation out of high-flying semiconductor and AI stocks as a positive sign of market discipline. He cautions that, quote, a doubling of earnings does not necessarily justify a doubling in the stock price, end quote. But he maintains that, quote, AI remains one of the most transformational technologies of our generation, end quote. Ultimately, he views the rotation as a healthy evolution. Quote, the recent pullback in speculative AI leaders should be viewed less as the end of the bull market than as its maturation, end quote. So let me know, do you agree with Siegel? Do you think the bull market is still intact? Maybe this is just kind of a breather. As a reminder, breathers in bull markets are good, especially if there's rotation afoot, and that is definitely what we've seen recently here. So we'll see what we get here today. We'll see if we get more rotation or if we get any type of bounce. Obviously, one of the other things that he cites there is the energy prices, right? He wants the core inflation can stabilize so long as energy prices stabilize. And with the recent escalation in the Middle Eastern conflict, that is now being brought into question. Now, excuse me, let's take a look at some of the news here. First one is going to be on Capital One. This reported earnings after the bell yesterday. I'm going to dive into that report here. On Tuesday, Capital One Financial, or ticker COF, reported second quarter earnings that topped Wall Street expectations, supported by revenue growth and early cost synergies from its Discover acquisition. Adjusted earnings came in at $5.81 per share, which beat the analyst consensus estimate of $4.77 per share. Revenue totaled $15.85 billion, which was ahead of the street estimate at $15.77 billion. Revenue increased 4% from the prior quarter, while adjusted EPS pre-provision earnings were flat as higher operating expenses offset that revenue gain. Management said the quarter captured about 1/3 of the expected quarterly operating expense synergies from the Discover integration and reaffirmed its goal of achieving $2.5 billion in annual Discover-related synergies. Purchase volume rose 26% year over year, primarily reflecting a partial quarter contribution from Discover. Legacy Capital One purchase volume increased 14% from a year earlier, driven by accelerating organic growth ahead of the Brex acquisition and the addition of a corporate card portfolio. Net interest margins expanded 14 basis points from the prior quarter to 8.01%. The increase was driven by lower retail deposit costs, a $5 billion reduction in average cash balances, and an extra day in the quarter. Provision for credit losses fell 27% sequentially, or $1.1 billion to $3 billion. The decline reflected a $3.7 billion in net charge-offs and a $662 million release from credit reserves. Capital One released $662 million from its allowance for credit losses, bringing the balance to about $23 billion. Capital One reported a domestic credit card net charge-off rate of 4.37% in June, and the 30-day plus performing delinquency rate was 3.39 at month's end. Its auto loan portfolio posted a net charge-off rate of 1.65%, while the 30-day plus performing delinquency rate was 4.32% at the end of June. The Common Equity Tier 1 ratio declined 70 basis points from the prior quarter to 13.7%. The decrease reflected a $2.7 billion in share repurchases, the Brex acquisition, and the higher risk-weighted assets. Domestic card revenue increased 30% year over year, largely due to Discover. Excluding Discover, domestic card revenue rose 9.5% on stronger purchase volume and loan growth. Revenue margin was 17.4%, while the domestic card net charge-off rate improved to 4.71%. This is down 39 basis points from the prior quarter and 54 basis points from a year earlier. Domestic card purchase volume climbed 26% year over year. Consumer banking revenue increased 26%, while auto originations rose 19%. So Capital One, this is actually viewed as a pretty good bank. Big B's, if you're out there, let me know what you think about this report. I know we've been talking about Capital One quite a bit in the happy hour. I'd like to get your knee-jerk reaction here and share it with the group, if you don't mind. That is Capital One. Okay, next news story here. It's on Archer Aviation. It's one of at this point, I think the eVTOLs are definitely one of the themes our group likes to trade. Archer, one of those stocks that the group really seems to like, and we'll cover the news here. eVTOL company Archer Aviation, or ticker ACHR, announced Wednesday that it unveiled the company's Archer Halo aircraft for commercial opportunities through a partnership with Anduril, adding to the recently announced defense applications between the two companies. Fresh off unveiling Thunder at the Farnborough International Air Show on Monday, Archer is highlighting Halo, the commercial variant of a partnership between that company and Anduril. Halo is the commercial version of the jointly developed dual-use autonomous aircraft platform. Both Thunder and Halo share the same airframe, hybrid powertrain, and core systems. Archer said the commercial aircraft is able to achieve significant range and endurance and closely optimized power throughout the full range of flight conditions. Halo is designed for low-cost, high-volume production among commercial supply chains. The aircraft can be packed into a standard-sized shipping container for transport by air, road, rail, or sea, offering several transportation methods to reach future use sites. Quote, over the past 8 years, we've engineered, tested, and scaled the technology this platform is built on. The powertrain, the batteries, the motors, the manufacturing, end quote. This is from Archer founder and CEO Adam Goldstein. Marubeni Aerospace Corporation, which announced as a strategic launch partner for Halo. The company is a subsidiary of the aerospace arm of Marubeni Corporation, one of the largest trading companies in Japan. The partnership will focus on joint market research, use case identification, and the future introduction of Halo. Marubeni Aerospace Corporation CEO Satoru Nakagawa, said cargo transport flights with crew and human flights have scheduled constraints and human exposure. Quote, Halo's unmanned autonomous flight capabilities can address these challenges, and combined with its excellent range, payload capacity, and VTOL capability, make it a highly suitable solution, end quote. More partners are expected to be named later this year by Archer and Anduril. Quote, I believe this is the most sophisticated vertical lift aircraft platform ever developed. It's exactly what our customers need, end quote. That came from Goldstein. Archer says that Halo brings together capabilities that other existing unmanned aircrafts can't compete with. This includes being long range and high speed. The Halo is able to reach remote and offshore sites, and the device can also carry a heavy payload. Without needing a pilot, the Halo also provides lower cost for customers and no need for human exposure on hazardous missions. As a VTOL, which again stands for vertical takeoff and landing, as a VTOL device, the Halo can also access locations that don't have a runway. Archer lists the following as potential commercial opportunity areas for the Halo. These include offshore energy, freight, humanitarian and medical cargo, and maritime applications. Quote, Halo arrives amid a growing need for commercial logistics to move heavy payloads long distances, fast, and into places with no runway at a fraction of the cost of legacy platforms, end quote. So again, we talked about this yesterday. I think the big takeaway here is that this is great for the long-term story and the execution, but provides no immediate revenue boost or help with any of that money. So take that as a grain of salt here if this is what you're going to trade or invest in. I like this. I'm still not sure how I feel about getting on an unmanned aircraft that flies into the air myself, but I can clearly see why this is being used. And some of those use cases there, especially with transporting heavy payloads that might be hazardous with no human contact, that definitely rings as positive here. All right, we got about 10 minutes till we get to Tim. I got another news story here. This one I thought was pretty interesting, and I know they're kind of talking about this. This is wild times ahead. Aaron Levy warns that AI agents can escape systems, find zero-day flaws, and spark a new cybersecurity arms race. This, of course, is the open AI Hugging Face issue that's going on right now. We'll dive into this here. Box CEO Aaron Levy, Box, by the way, is ticker BOX, warned that increasingly capable AI agents could create new cybersecurity challenges by autonomously finding vulnerabilities, navigating systems, and forcing companies to rethink their digital defenses. On Tuesday, in a post on X, Levy said AI agents are advancing beyond simple automation and could soon operate with capabilities that introduce new security risks. He wrote, quote, if you were wondering how powerful AI is getting, agents are now capable of escaping out of systems, finding their way to the internet, discovering zero-day security vulnerabilities along the way, and then breaking into external systems, all in an attempt to complete their goal, end quote. Sounds like some more guardrails are needed, but that's just me. The Box CEO argued that the rise of autonomous AI systems could create a new cybersecurity landscape where attackers and defenders increasingly rely on artificial intelligence. Quote, ironically, the ultimate way we're going to defend against these new risks is equally by throwing compute in the form of AI at our code bases, networks, and other systems, end quote. So I know there's the old adage, you fight fire with fire. Well, it looks like for 2026 or in this day and age, you fight AI with AI. So what could go wrong with this, right? He added, quote, you're going to want vastly more AI on the side of defense as you do on the side of offense, end quote. Well, he continued saying, we're entering a new era of what's going to be possible with AI. Wild times ahead, end quote. This week, OpenAI temporarily restricted internal access to an AI model after it attempted to bypass security controls during testing. The company later restored limited access with new safeguards after the model identified a sandbox vulnerability, created a public GitHub pull request, and attempted to access private evaluation data. Earlier, Andrej Karpathy said AI agents had significantly changed his coding workflow, with systems now generating most of his software. He also built an AI-powered assistant called Dobby that managed smart home functions through natural language commands. Cisco Systems, ticker CSCO, President and Chief Product Officer Jitu Patel said the company had already developed a product built entirely with AI-generated code and expected to launch more AI-created products by the end of 2026. He said AI agents were enabling smaller teams to increase productivity through a shift towards, quote, spec-driven development, end quote. So get ready. AI agents are going to duke it out with other AI agents. It's going to be wild times. I think the CEO's quote is the best there. Wild times ahead, indeed. I do think that this is going to make a number of cybersecurity plays really good over the next couple of years. You know, I've been consistent on this for a long time. Palo Alto, best in breed, ticker PANW. That is definitely where I'd want to be. Okay. Now, here's another one. We've talked about AI data centers. We've talked about the NIMBY, the not in my backyard thing. Mark Cuban now making some news here saying that AI data centers could become pickleball courts. It's going to be a lot of pickleball if these data centers become pickleball courts. And he warns that venture capital is all in on a bet that may not pay off. So is this more FUD from Cuban, or is this something we should actually worry about? Billionaire entrepreneur Mark Cuban said the current artificial intelligence boom differs from the dot-com bubble, but warned that venture capital firms, private equity investors, and AI infrastructure backers could face steep losses if today's massive spending fails to deliver expected returns. Speaking with Jason Calacanis on Monday's episode of the All In podcast, Cuban said today's AI investment cycle is being driven primarily by institutional investors rather than retail traders, making venture capital firms, private equity funds, and other large investors the ones most exposed if expectations fail to materialize. Quote, it's not the traditional dot bubble, end quote. That was from Cuban, adding that the biggest losers would likely be venture capital firms, private equity funds, and institutional investors that have gone all in on AI. He also said startup valuations have climbed sharply compared with a decade ago, with many companies raising capital at lofty valuations before ever launching products. According to Cuban, paying too much at the start can make it difficult for investors to generate attractive returns. Cuban questioned whether the industry's aggressive investment in AI infrastructure will ultimately pay off. He said technology companies are committing tens of billions of dollars to build AI data centers while also borrowing to finance expansion, calling it, quote, planning for perfection, end quote. Cuban argued that improvements in AI efficiency could significantly reduce computing and power requirements over time, much like advances in fiber optic technology eventually left excess network capacity unused after the dot-com era. There's going to be a lot of, quote, there's going to be a lot of data centers that are going to be turned into pickleball courts, end quote. His comments come as U.S. technology companies continue pouring money into AI infrastructure. Company filings cited by market commentator the Kobisi letter showed commitments for data center leases exceeded $850 billion in the first quarter as companies including Oracle, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and Alphabet, and those tickers ORCL, MSFT, META, AMZN, and GOOG. The infrastructure boom has also drawn increasing scrutiny from local communities. A recent Georgia Tech study found that while data centers generate measurable economic gains, most of the benefits accrue to metropolitan areas, while many rural communities that host these facilities see limited economic spillovers and higher electricity costs. Researchers said communities should closely evaluate infrastructure costs and long-term economic benefits before approving new projects and expanding their AI footprints. Cuban's caution also aligns with concerns raised earlier this month by Apollo Global Management, ticker APO, their chief economist, Torsten Slok, who warned that markets could face, quote, a painful repricing, end quote, if returns from massive AI investments take longer than investors expect. Slok said investors may be assuming AI spending will translate into earnings growth much faster than businesses outside the technology sector can realistically monetize the technology. So you let me know if Cuban's going to be right. Are we going to be hearing more pops of those pickleballs instead of the light hum of a data center? You tell me. All right, last story here right before we go to Tim. This one's a very quick one, but we've been talking about Michael Burry a lot, so I figured I might as well bring this here to the group. Michael Burry mocks the need for humanoid robotics and calls it a chat GPT moment, says that AI's biggest breakthrough was making cheating in school a literal no-brainer. Wait, does it get more cynical than this guy? I don't know. Big Short investor Michael Burry questioned the need for a chat GPT moment in humanoid robotics on Wednesday, saying generative artificial intelligence had already delivered its biggest breakthrough as Tesla, ticker TSLA, and other companies bet on human-like machines as the next growth market. Burry was responding to a Nikkei report, quoting a senior executive at a Chinese humanoid robot maker Agibot, who said the robotics industry remains 2 to 5 years away from a, quote, chat GPT moment, end quote. Burry questioned whether humanoid robots needed such a defining moment at all, saying chat GPT had already become AI's biggest mass adoption event by making, quote, cheating in school a literal no-brainer, end quote. He added that nothing could spread faster or have a greater impact than technology capable of, quote, turning off the brains of all students across the world in one instant, end quote. Has he heard of Instagram? The world's largest technology and automotive companies are pouring billions into humanoid robotics, betting the technology could become AI's next major commercial opportunity. Tesla CEO Elon Musk has called Optimus, the humanoid robot program, the company's, quote, biggest product of all time, end quote, while NVIDIA, ticker NVDA, recently launched its open source Isaac GR00T platform to help power competing humanoid robots. Samsung Electronics has also stepped up its robotics ambitions by creating a dedicated robotics division and hiring a former Hyundai Motors robotics executive to lead the business and expand investment in physical AI. Hyundai, meanwhile, took full ownership of Boston Dynamics as it prepares to deploy Atlas humanoid robots in manufacturing later this decade. Last month, Morgan Stanley doubled its forecast for humanoid robot shipments in China this year to 50,000 units and estimates the sector could ultimately grow into roughly a $5 trillion global opportunity by 2050. Goldman Sachs has also raised its expectations for the industry, forecasting the global humanoid robot market could reach about $38 billion by 2035 as advances in AI accelerate commercialization. So let me know. Let me know. And as far as the whole like cheating and like to think now that this was a no-brainer, to think now that I wrote all of those papers and did all of that research on my own. Damn, I'm salty. I'm salty about that. Glad my brain didn't get turned off, however. All right, folks. It's that time. It's Wednesday, and it's I'm sorry, it's 2 minutes past 8:30. That won't matter to Tim. It's Tim Melvin time. Tim, good morning. How you doing? Happy Wednesday.
Good morning, everybody. How is everybody this morning?
Well, we're good. I just got to let you know, you have a new nickname that was given to you by Lion Atlas or Hamid from our chat here. Your new nickname is Don Ive Jr. So we didn't even get Dan Ives right, but he's comparing you to Dan Ives because of the exciting shirts that you wear. That one looks like the cactus shirt.
Well, I've been wearing these for years. I mean, it's for a long time. I've tried to get James Montier, who was at several firms. He was at Credit Suisse. He's one of the best value analysts and allocation analysts on the planet. And he also wore ugly shirts constantly, ugly, stylish Hawaiian shirts. And I wanted to have a shirt off, but he never answered my email on it. Thought we could have got some traction with that. But anyway, some thoughts on your opening commentary this morning. First off, that's a great report from Capital One.
Okay.
Right? When you looked and we looked at Jamie Dimon's credit numbers, they were unbelievable on the credit card side. But that makes sense because Jamie Dimon doesn't lend money to people that need to borrow money. Those are all the higher upper end credit cards. So you don't expect a lot of losses from the JP Morgan credit card portfolio. So, kind of same with Bank of America. However, Capital One's usually where the uh-ohs show up first, especially with the addition of Discover. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they go further down the credit stack. Now, they're not subprime. They're not playing in the garbage pit, but they do play in the near prime pit, right? And for them to have that low a charge-off rate and that low a delinquency rate is fantastic. And they felt good enough about the future to release $600 billion in reserves. So there's a huge economic statement in the Capital One report. I mean, things are much better than the negative naysayers out there want you to believe.
Okay.
Now, I've kind of said this from the start, and please don't put any political charge about it to anybody because I hate all politicians and all administrations, and they all do it. Right? The only threat to this economy all year has been policy. Bad policy decisions were the only thing that could derail, ironically, many of the tailwinds that the administration put in place with the Big Beautiful Act, things going on in AI. And so naturally, being politicians, they've accommodated us and made it more difficult than it ought to be.
Isn't that always the case, though?
Oh, yeah. No, please, and I have to say this every 4 years, right? I'm not picking on this guy, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't like the last guy either or the guy before him, okay? And you can take that all the way back. This is something politicians do, right? They can't resist. And, the trade policies and the Iranian war policies are massive market tailwinds. We would seriously be having a conversation about a 5% GDP rate for 2026 without some of these, right? So there's a lot of positives going on in the economy, and that showed up in the Capital One report today.
Okay, now let me ask you. I know that you're not like a quick trader here. Like you obviously have a long-term approach with pretty much everything that you do. But does this change anything for you? Are you more risk on, or are you just simply in wait and see mode for quality companies to reach your target?
Look, back when all you guys were calling me a moron for buying banks and, the internet was talking about how stupid I was and banks are so boring and, what a moron, he's still buying his old banks. He's so old. I was loading the boat on banks, right? Because everybody knew at that time, right, that I won't use any bad words, but, Porter Stansberry was sitting up there in Baltimore talking about how Bank of America had billions, hundreds of billions of bond losses, and they were going to collapse, and the banking system was going to zero, and all you needed to do was save your family was send him $5,000 or whatever the hell he was charging that time. But and that was all over the internet, right? The banking system's going to collapse. It's terrible, credit losses. It's all. No, it wasn't. And we loaded up on banks. So Capital One report just makes me smile and keep counting the cash.
that reminds me. That has almost reminds me of Scrooge McDuck just counting his money.
Look, Hetty Green, who, if you don't know who Hetty Green is, shame on you. Google it the minute the morning show is over this morning. Hetty Green in her day was the richest woman in the world. And they asked her, how'd you do it? And Hetty's like, look, First off, my father taught me finance when I was a wee little girl, but this is really simple. When nobody wants anything, I buy a whole lot of it, and then I just own it until everybody wants to buy it for me, and then I just charge them 4 or 5 times what it's worth.
Tim, I think that what you're explaining there at the core is patience, right? And
Yeah,
I've heard for the longest time that the market, all the stock market is a big giant mechanism that moves money from the impatient to the patient. And it
no,
seems like that is
100%.
exactly what you're describing right now. So
100%. And still everybody's like, well, the credit, the banks are going to get into trouble, and this is going to happen, and that's going to happen, and none of it's actually going to happen, right? It's if you buy banks at the right price when everybody hates them, and you buy banks with great internal financials, solid loan portfolios, and lots of capital, you're going to do really well. Okay, over time, because the banking system, and I did a great piece on this for some smaller circle of internal friends. The United States it's born on dreams, and it's born on hopes, and it's born on innovation, but the real money's been made by the guys that financed it,
yeah, that
right?
makes sense. Big B's here saying the regionals are on fire this quarter. The numbers are wonderful. So
Yeah.
not everybody thinks you're an idiot, Tim. And
No, no, it's
I've actually never seen
the
that
question
comment
is,
consecutive.
and I can remember because I gave a presentation in 2023 in the midst of everything, with all the Silicon Valley Bank shares, and everything was going under, and bankers were idiots, and the system was on the verge of collapse. And I just walked onto the stage and said, "You guys are blowing it big time. You should be backing up on the banks right now." And there was a great, because you remember that was almost entirely crypto and capital allocation mistakes. All of these guys had way too many uninsured deposits. They were banking the venture industry, and they had way too many long-term treasuries, which is a lethal combination, right? So they had liquidity mismatches. And I said, look, if you buy the conservative, boring banks here while they're at this bargain level, you're going to do real well. And I forget who it was, but somebody put a fantastic post on the internet. It's one of my all-time favorite ones. It's a picture of a guy from the knees down, and the slacks, they're khaki slacks, and they have cuffs in them, and there's tassels on the loafers. And it says, if your banker dresses like this, you're fine.
I've seen that a whole bunch of times. I know exactly what you're talking about. That meme has actually been morphed into other situations as well. Okay, really quickly, Tim, I want to hear what you have for us here today. But just because we started talking about banks there, a couple of interesting things on that note. Number one here, XLF, this actually looks like it's at a resistance level, but also a potential breakout spot. So if you like financials as a sector, this move here above this double top high might be something to keep an eye on. And then also, you were talking about Capital One here. This also at an interesting spot. Interestingly enough, stock has moved lower now, down by 1.34%. It was higher in the after hours yesterday, but it's down here today. And notably, it's finding resistance at its 200, and it's actually been banging against this since June. So I would also, if you're, kind of interested in taking a new trade here, I would watch this. COF possible cross above the 200 might give us a little bit of a move higher there.
Okay, so we've got some cool stuff, and Ryan, I sent you a bunch of links this morning. I keyed them all up, and I got ready to send them last night. Got distracted and never sent them, so they came to you this morning.
I don't have anything from you this morning.
Oh, for goodness sakes!
Papers for tomorrow. Here they are. And
this
this came
go.
28 minutes ago. I don't know what's going on with my inbox. Okay, where do we want to start here?
Well, let's start with just real quick, because this one's fun for all the TA guys, and more in particular, this study used cryptos. The authors used RSI, Relative Strength Index, in cryptocurrency, and they reviewed the traditional signals, right? If it's above 70, you sell. If it's below 30, you buy. And they used it on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and XRP on time frames ranging from 5 minutes to 4 hours. and they looked at what prices did over the next several bars. So this is for crypto traders out there, and there were tens of thousands of signals over this time period of the study, and they found that not only don't they work, they're contraindicators.
So real quick, Tim, which one is this? Which paper is
This
this that you
is
sent me?
the futation essays overbought is not a sell signal. It's a link.
Oh, okay. I don't have that. Oh, here we
Okay,
go.
well,
Yep, nope. Sorry.
I
You
thought
did
I, I
send me.
thought I got them
You
on,
did. You
Ryan. I
did.
hope I
You did.
did. So,
It's just not. I'm struggling. This is a me issue, not a you issue. To be clear,
okay.
here's what we got. Go ahead. Sorry.
So, and by the way, there's been other studies done taking this over to stocks and to indexes and to commodities even. And there's a measure of truth of this across all things. That static rule of overbought and oversold doesn't work in a vacuum very well at all. All right. We've always said, and we've talked about this on the show before, actually, that when you take this RSI, because it does work over large bodies, right? But if you want to get specific, put a 5-day moving average in there. Find the stock that is oversold and don't buy it till it crosses over the 5-day moving average, because often you're going to have trend continuation, right? The strong get stronger, the weak get weaker in the stock market. Now, that you do reach a point where you've pulled the rubber band too far, but you need something to quantify that, right? To
Tim,
give you that example.
let me jump in here because you know these papers and the history far better than I could ever imagine. Isn't this pretty much the inverse of what William O'Neill used to say about trying to buy stocks that just entered quote overbought territory? You wanted to buy stocks that had momentum to the upside because it's
Yes.
likely going to continue. This seems to be the inverse of that. It's just to the downside.
Yes, you do get it, and it's to the upside as well in the study if you go through. But often RSI is a continuation signal, not a fade signal. So just because something has run a very long way does not mean it's not going to continue to run. O'Neill is a great example. O'Neill bought all his stocks at 52-week highs.
Yeah.
Right. And his theory here was it really doesn't matter. In order for a stock to be a 50 bagger, it's going to double a whole bunch of times. So buying the first double is often the smartest thing that you can do. Now, I always say, look, when you're in these situations, sell half on the first double and then just sit back and let it go. Don't ever sell another share. You've got your money back. It's a free ride. So it's an interesting study, and it is specific to Bitcoin and other cryptos, which comes back to a point I've made several times on the show. First, yes, I hate Bitcoin. I think everybody that's a long-term owner of Bitcoin is going to end up one day with caca all over their face and zeros in their bank account. That's just me. Now, having said that, there is no trendier assets than cryptocurrencies. These things are a trend following investors' dream. I mean, they're absolutely magnificent for following trends. So anyway, that is a very cool study. Ryan's got a copy of it if you guys want a copy.
Actually, this one, because it was a link,
yes.
I threw this in the chat. That's already on there. It looks like I spelled study wrong in my rush to get to type the message. Here it is. If you're interested in reading through this is an interesting one. I'm going to save this one for later. Awesome. Okay, what do you got next?
Okay, now this one's cool. This one just came out, and I really got a kick out of it. And this is for the traders in the bunch. Okay, short term thinkers. Conditional demand for lottery type stocks, information spillovers, and asset prices co-movement. And that's one of the attachments, Ryan.
Yeah, I got it here.
Yes, you got it. Okay. Real simple here. Okay. You're looking for those stocks that these are the story stocks, the ones I constantly tell you not to buy, right? No profits, no nothing, really high idiosyncratic volatility, stocks all over the place, totally trading on stories, absolute lottery tickets. So you're going to look at announcement days, the big ones, right? ISM manufacturing and PMI reports, personal consumption, employment reports, and FOMC interest rate decisions, the big economic announcements. If the markets respond favorably to the announcement, load up on lottery tickets. Over the next 6 days, they're going to outperform significantly. If the market performs negatively, either step aside or short them. Although obviously shorting lottery ticket stocks is real hard because the borrow is expensive.
Yeah.
But if you're looking to trade some of the story stocks and some of the garbage, as I like to call it,
We call
stocks
it that too.
that make these tremendous moves, right? The announcement indicator can help you a lot. A positive market response is going to lead to a lot of lottery ticket buying.
Interesting. So the way my immediate knee-jerk reaction to that is when on the days that we come in here and we see one of these important data prints that ends up popping the SPY in the pre-market, that's probably going to be a better environment for trading some of the junker names that we identify off of the movers tool. That's my immediate takeaway, is that this is effectively a red light, green light signal for when to go after those.
Yes, absolutely. This is when you want to go. So I just thought that was a very cool study for those of you that like to trade, and that's most of the people in the chat. I thought I'd pass that along. It seems to have a lot of value.
Okay, interesting. So again, just to kind of recap here, I'm going to throw the 2 links that Tim gave, with the URLs, into the chat, so you'll have those right away. This one, if you're interested in it, this is actually a robust study here. You're going to have to actually like put your reading hat on and read this. But if you want this one, you're going to have to shoot me an email. I will forward this and the other 2 that you have. This is cool, Tim. What else you got?
Let's go to the Blackstone Office of the CIO Mid-Year Investment and Perspectives. Most of the major private equity firms, KKR does it, Blackstone does it, Carlyle does it, Apollo sort of does it. They make you sit through a class with Torsten Slok. But if they put out a lot of macro information, right? And if you're not reading it, you're probably leaving money on the table. And here's why I say that. They see more of everything than anybody else. Their economic and macro team is talking to companies they own all over the world. They're not just talking to politicians. They're not just talking to bankers. They're talking to people with boots on the ground, running a wide range of businesses. They own real estate all over the world. They also borrow literally hundreds of billions of dollars to finance deals in real estate. Cumulatively over the years, Carlyle, KKR, Blackstone, they borrowed trillions and trillions of dollars and repaid most of it. So, they've got a whole different perspective as a business owner, operator, a user of leverage, a lender to all segments of the economy. So they're seeing stuff nobody else sees. So the Blackstone report, when we go into it, it's pretty cool. All right, and I'm just going to hit the highlights.
Okay.
The central thesis: AI is now a hard investment cycle. Right, artificial intelligence is according to Blackstone, the main driver of everything right now. And there's a lot of support for this, by the way, in the most recent beige book from the Federal Reserve. And I don't care if you don't like the Fed. If you're looking for a big macro picture, the beige book is mandatory reading. But AI revenues should grow about 30-fold over the next 5 years, according to Blackstone. The hyperscalers are going to spend $769 billion on data center capital expenditures this year. It's almost $1 trillion in a single year. That figure is way higher. It's up from $600 billion that Blackstone was estimating in January. Next year, we're going to crack the trillion, according to Blackstone. Yeah. Getting in front of this capital at the right price is going to make you an enormous amount of money. Now, Blackstone also points out scarcity in the physical world is becoming really important. AI requires chips. Chips require electricity. Electricity requires generation, transmission, natural gas, substations, and grid connections. Data centers require land, cooling, construction, labor, backup power, and long-term access to utilities. Now, if you don't automatically just mute the chat every Wednesday morning when I come on, you know that I talk about this all the time, right? The big second wave money in AI is energy related. Global electricity demand is going to go up 50% over. That's stunning. That's a century's electricity demand in 5 years. That's crazy. U.S. electricity is going to rise between 30 and 40%. Now, here's where this gets really interesting, and it makes you want to start looking at the companies that make transformers, that are involved in electrical engineering, that do the connectors, the cables, the wires. More than 70% of U.S. grid assets are at least 25 years old. They were never built with anything like this in mind. Grid bottlenecks are extending the time required to secure power in markets from approximately 1 year to 7 years or more. And here's why utility stocks are not a buy. All right, utility capex is going to it's going to total nearly $1.4 trillion over the next 4 years. Now, this is where this story starts to get really interesting, because ordinarily when you are a utility and you need to spend some money, you put your hat in your hand and you walk up to the utility commission, you hold out your hat and you say, "Please, sir, can I have some more?" Well, the utility commissions are looking at voters because they're politicians, and the voters are saying, "No, we don't want to pay any more electricity, bills. It's already going high enough." They're going to come back and they're going to tell the utilities, "Figure it out your damn self," which means that utility margins, there's going to be a squeeze. There's no way around it. But there's a whole secondary level, and we saw like Baker Hughes is doing this, BKR. They're going to the Amazons and they're going to the Metas and the Open AIs and the Anthropics, and they're saying, "Look, guys, we can just take and build you a little power plant that pumps right in here. We're going to build it right on the edge of the natural gas field," which not buy. If I was a land speculator, I would be buying as much land around the Bakken, around the Utica, around the Marcellus shales as close as I possibly could, because all of that land is going to become data center land. So that's the secondary trend, and it's not just Tim running his mouth; it's Blackstone who's buying billions of dollars of this stuff. Blackstone also says the same thing that I've said. Earnings are really good. There's no big collapse coming in economic activity unless something goes horribly wrong somewhere in the world. Even Iran, as bad as it is going to be a slow kind of grind on margins through energy costs entering the supply chain if it continues. But when you look, we had this massive earnings quarter last quarter. We're going to have another good one this quarter. It'll be the 8th consecutive quarter of double-digit growth if we hit that mark. Far from corporate America being leveraged up to their eyeballs and about to collapse under a mountain of debt, which is another really popular theme and meme, corporate interest expense relative to revenue is at a 50-year low. Okay, so the backdrop for economic growth is actually pretty good. U.S. is the strongest in the world. Asia is getting stronger. Europe right now is comparatively pretty weak. Inflation is difficult in the short run, and this is AI-related equipment shortages. It is trade policies. It is energy prices and the Middle East conflict. Eventually, all of that should, like the python through the or the pig through the python, work its way out. And inflation should at least moderate. Now, this does mean interest rates are probably going to be in higher for longer, which is an alternative fixed income investor that warms the cockles of my heart because the opportunities are extraordinary. But, there's a lot of really strong tailwinds, and they're showing up in places like the Blackstone report and like the Carlyle report, which we're not going to have time to get into. Carlyle does express a concern that so much we've been funding AI capex on cash flow. Okay, that's over. The next wave is going to be financed by debt. We've already eaten up all the cash flow. And Mark Cuban is quite right. If we don't start seeing a monster ROI on this capex, it could be a problem for the stock market, because it could be a real problem for venture capital, because you're going to see a sentiment shift. And then one other question that I'll leave you guys with, and this one's on the data center argument. We spend 5 times what China does on data centers, although China is saying they're going to spend more. They caught up again. So I'm wondering, are they stealing the data, pirating the data? Or are they just developing systems more efficiently using open source than we are? Because we're spending more, but they're staying neck and neck with us. And I just wish I had the technical knowledge to understand exactly what is going on there. So that's kind of everything for this week without going, into another long-winded report. I do recommend that everybody read this quarter's, especially Bay's book. It's not exactly quarterly. I think there's 5 or 6 of these things come out a year, but it makes it clear. And remember, the Bay's book's not the Fed's opinion. It's interviews with the district governors. It's interviews with business people, bankers in the 12 Federal Reserve districts. And they're kind of supporting the same thing. 11 of 12 districts reported improving economic activity. But again, data centers, AI-related infrastructure, electrical equipment, and machinery and automation were the main drivers of economic growth, followed by defense and aerospace, and then energy infrastructure and LNG-related construction. Those of you that do think long-term, you really need to have money in the energy midstream. The pipelines, the gathering centers, the processing, the shipping, the terminals, the ports. It is going to be massive over the next several years, and all of it, every time oil and gas flows through the infrastructure, it's a pay-to-play business. So a little bit sticks into our fingers, and we get some of that back out as a dividend. So, any questions for me at this point before we sign off for the day?
Yes. One, do you have a website? Someone was asking for your website. I know you have products here with us on the research side, but you don't have a website or anything, do you?
At this point, let's call it under development. Okay, more to follow.
Okay.
We do have a website, but it's more private at this point in time.
Okay. All right. Well, in the meantime, you can always find Tim here, and he does have services on Benzinga's research side that gives trading ideas and reasons for that. So if you're interested in that, let us know. All right, Tim, great stuff as per usual. Really appreciate it. Have a good rest of your Wednesday. And as mentioned, if you just send me an email, I'll throw my email back here in the chat for anyone that might be new or doesn't have it or simply misplaced it. If you want any of those reports or PDFs that Tim just referenced, shoot me an email. I'll make sure to send all of those over.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks, guys. And I would be looking at those regional banks as they broke to new highs, but I would also use a pretty tight stop on them. Okay. Because banks are the first ones to respond negatively to news. So,
okay. All right. Real good stuff, Tim. We appreciate it.
Have a great week, everybody.
All right. Take care. Tim Melvin, everybody, does not disappoint ever. Really, really good stuff there. Okay, I got one really quick tweet to do, and then we're going to bring on 13, and we're going to break down the rest of the movers here and get you ready for the session. Let's do street tweets right now. All right, this one came yesterday. Financial Juice says that the Trump administration is weighing banning imports of military-grade drones. That is per the FCC, Federal Communications Commission. You know what this means, folks. AI drone makers, higher. And we actually saw Ondas actually did trade up a little bit in the after hours. Keep your eyes on drones, though. We've talked about this quite a bit. We are very much in the infancy of this. I know some of these drone stocks have made really nice moves and pulled back a whole lot. More to come on the drone theme. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. All right, let's get back to Pro here. Let's do pre-market pulse and say hello to 13. Good morning. How you doing today?
Good morning. I just realized my mic was not on. I had to quickly turn it on there at the last second. Good morning. How are you? How's everybody in the chat?
We're good, man. It's Wednesday. Tim Melvin went off like he always does. We're one day closer to the weekend. We're doing good. We're getting ready to trade. We're living the dream, buddy. Do you want to start with? Well, I noticed that you had said something in the chat there regarding what Tim was saying. Did you want to cover that first?
No,
I can't find it.
That wasn't the thing that I had brought up for discussion yesterday. So I don't. Well, but there's that too.
This is the one you're talking about.
Yeah, because that wasn't the topic that I brought up, but it's just something that I was kind of connecting dots there. He's talking about some of these what did he call them, the story names or
the story names that serve as lottery tickets.
Okay, so I mean, what are those typically at? Like those are typically small caps, mid caps.
Yeah, small caps for sure.
So taking that discussion that you had with Tim and the discussion we had last night, now we're seeing multiple people who are very much in the know with these kind of things, discussing similar aspects of the market and funds. So I think we should be keeping an eye on these small caps.
Okay. Yeah, no, we definitely will. Small caps, one of our favorite things to do here. I'm sure we're going to do that. Okay. Really good stuff there. You want to hit the movers?
Yes, let's do that.
Let's do that. We'll flip over to our movers workspace here. Now, you're going to have to let me know what you prepared for here. I know that there was one that we had earlier, SXTC, I think was the ticker, one that we've traded before, popped, actually has gone negative now from that pop. So we'll have to, we'll take a look at that. What do you have covered on here?
I was only looking at two today because I was listening to Tim and kind of engaging with you guys. But there were just a couple that I looked at. One's a biotech and another is a likely China pump.
Okay.
So great list I have for you here this morning.
Okay. Is one of those Lab T?
Yeah.
Okay. So Lab T here, this is Lakewood Amdex or Amadex. Stock is up 220%. This, I think, is your biotech one. Lakewood Amadex Biotherapeutics announces resistance data for its NU3 in alignment with Presidential Advisory Council on combining antibiotic-resistant bacteria. Okay, so I'll have you go into that in a little bit here. Short interest on this name, 6.29% with 1 day to cover. So there's some in here, but not a crazy amount. Float here, micro float, under 1 million shares. I have it here at 600,000. Stocks traded 35 million shares here today. What do you think on LABT?
So the NU3 data refers to a drug that's currently in phase 2 development. This information that they were releasing involves information that the United States is trying to collect and help use to develop antibacterial drugs and drugs that are more resistant to the drug resist to the or not resistant, more effective on drug resistant bacteria. So that has been the big concern right now, and this is so this could be pretty important. I didn't have time to go through all of the data, but I just wanted to give you some of the details about what this is moving on. That's what it was. It does have 600,000 shares in the float, so this could get moved around quite a bit and taken for a ride. At the same time, this company doesn't have any revenue. It has almost no cash. The balance sheet looks like ass, and it's got debt, not like a lot of debt, but relative to where they are in their cash position and their revenue. It's they're over $1 million in debt, and they have more debt than they have cash or revenue. So gonna have to think that at some point pretty soon there's gonna have to be a grant that comes along and helps them out, maybe from the United States, or they're gonna have to raise the capital themselves. So this kind of puts this one on here as a potential risk for share dilution. For support, I've got we're down at it right now. $5.90 and $6 is where I was looking at support. That's about where VWAP is right now. So I think we're going to have to hold up here, or we could see further downside as we approach the open. Now, if we do turn around here and start climbing back up, resistance levels are going to be 775, 9, 14, and 20. Whether we get to 14 and 20, those are kind of the dumber levels.
Yep.
But I thought they were still worth pointing out because they're very, very clear to see on the daily chart. So if we get past 775, we'll look at 9. If we get past 9, maybe we'll see 14. If we get to 14, we'll throw a Hail Mary and try to get 20.
Okay, sounds good. We also have a fair value gap on the chart here. Looks like this range is about 367 to 481-ish. We'll see if that provides any bounce area for the stock if we do end up trading lower. Okay, good breakdown there. LABT. What else did you have on your list? What other ticker was it?
Oh, man. It was INLF.
Okay, that's perfect. That's right here. That's second in the list here. Now, this one is, as you mentioned earlier, the potential China pump here. Indeed, it is from China. Stock closed at 223 yesterday, traded all the way up to 737 here today. Let me guess, no news?
No
Yes,
news.
Correct. No news. So,
but look at the float.
This looks like our pump job here. No short interest either, but the float, 64K.
I don't know if that's right or not. My broker has it as 978,000, so still under $1 million.
Either way, this is super low float. I think we can. That's the takeaway here. Stocks traded 15 million shares here today. What do you got? This thing looks terrible, frankly.
Well, this actually is. Well, if you believe their books, they're much more fundamentally sound than the last company we took at. They actually have revenue. They have cash. They're just not profitable. And they're involved in the manipulator arms. So, a lot of warehouse and, manufacturing. That's what this company does. They have, it's manipulator arms that are used for injection molding. And they have, they're just for warehouse movement, lots of different things you can use for manipulator arms. But specifically to this one is for injection molding. And the business seems all right. They just announced a 1 for 200 share combination. I think that may have already gone through. But I didn't check that because I just noticed it. But as far as the chart goes, we have resistance at 440 and VWAP. So if we manage to get back above the 65 EMA, which we just hit, that's going to be the next upside levels to watch for. So, and then of course you have support at the 200-day SMA. If we go beneath that, I'm sorry, not the 200-day SMA, the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. If we manage to go underneath that, I think this is done.
Okay, INLF, your ticker on this one doesn't look all that great. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, look at this, 13. Not even waiting. We've got Zhongchao, another Chinese small cap stock here. This looks like we had multiple peaks going up towards 314 here today. We've pulled almost all the way back. I've got no new news on this. Might this be our other China pump? Sure looks like it. I do have a percent of float short here of 32.9%, but I wonder if this was a recent split. We could probably check that here real quick. Indeed, the end of June 29th, we did a 1 for 3 reverse. So that might be why that short interest is kind of jacked there.
We did 2 in June.
Did we really? Did I miss that? I didn't even think to look at the second line there. I'll be damned, 13. You're exactly right. We did 2 in June and 1 in March this year.
Yeah, so 3 this year.
Oh my gosh. And the first one in June was a 1 for 31 and then a 1 for 3 on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's no good here. Float on this 1.14 million. You have anything here on Zhongchao?
It has some pretty elevated short interest, but I think that might be a result of the reverse splitting that they've been doing. So I don't know for sure. As far as the chart goes, we have traded this before. I still have a line out here at 275. Looks like we've managed to go past that earlier this morning a couple of times, but no staying power up there. I'd still think maybe we could lower it down to 265. As the real big resistance area, and then after that it looks like 290 before you get to 3. So I have 275 marked off here for some reason, but just that whole area, 265, 275, 290, those are all resistance areas from here.
Okay, a couple of really good comments here in the chat. We'll start with that privacy guy. ZCMD, it's a trap. You know what that means? It's a trap. We have to play that every time you get that drop. Have to. Also, Anne-Marie Band, good morning. Anne-Marie saying, be careful today. Credit spreads widen. Earnings are after the close. We talked about that as your big day here, or kicking off the big day here. Gold's up, oil's up, yields up, slow leak into the prior day, giving back all of the gains. So just be careful today. Anne-Marie's synopsis there. It could be another sideways day here. Selena, on the same page here, agrees. Stronger divergence with low credit bonds and growing credit markets always lead the equity markets. So really good stuff out there. Really good comments out there. Okay, the only other thing I saw here on the list, ADVV, this is one from yesterday, right? Didn't really do much of anything. Trading higher here today. Looks like the big day here was on Monday. One thing that I'll add here, this is a Taiwanese stock, so it's not the China pump, right? That's Taiwan's flag. Yeah, it's a Taiwanese stock. So now we have, just connecting some of these highs, we have a trend line for a possible target if we move through the VWAP. I don't have anything else on this one. Do you?
Well, the news, I think earlier this week on Monday was that they terminated its purchase agreement with Helena Global Investments.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that I think is why it's causing it to go here.
Okay, well, let's see. Put this one on the back burner, but here's basically I don't think there's really anything else on that. INM, this is another one that I know we've traded before. This is InMed Pharmaceuticals. Big spike up to 550, massive pullback, attempt to bounce, coughed up the VWAP. We've rolled over to the low. I hate to say this, we're only up 40% now. Looks like the PR we got here is they announced a $200 million private placement for migraine prevention pipeline. So maybe we'll go use some AI to help us go through that PR there. 2.67% of the float is shorted. Float on this stock is 5.3 million. Do you have anything here on INM? Totally okay if you don't.
There's a lot of insider buying from one particular entity named Vivo Opportunity Cayman Fund, who started buying.
It's not shady at all.
And this has been, buying, bought in June, bought in July, multiple times. That's one really interesting thing here. Let me see what else. So floats 5.3, 200 million private placement. What's their pipeline like is the only other thing I'd be curious about. Looks like, what is this? That must be the INM 901 that they're referring to. So that's in preclinical. So this is still a ways away. And that's what that $200 million private placement is going to be for. So they're just getting started with this. It's going to continue to lose more money. Great that they've got, an infusion of cash whenever that does happen, but it's just going to go away.
Okay. All right, good stuff there. Now, that should do it here for the movers list. Obviously, there are some SMCI. We talked about them doing their preliminary Q4 financial results. That's driving the stock higher here. That means some of the other tickers connected to SMCI, the other ETFs, those are also moving here. Otherwise, I don't really see anything else great on here to cover. So my suggestion is that we move over to the chart tool, take a look at some more, let's call them legitimate stocks, if you will. We can take questions here from the group. 13, if you have one that you want to look at, I know you talked a little bit about GEV and their massive backlog. That's been a humongous winner for us.
That's lower now.
Wish you still had it. The earnings were this morning. Sorry?
Yeah, GEV is lower. I think even though they had, they missed on EPS a little bit, but their backlog is growing. So, let the weakness happen. I think it'll present some really good buying opportunities if you want to get back into this. I'm not, looking to jump into this, right now, but this is going to be one of the ones that's going to be, working on the heels of what Tim was talking about earlier with power generation.
Yep.
So very, very big name that's going to, do really well in the future. But it's had such a great run, and now with this earnings report with their margins apparently compressing, that's it's going to get people to sell off or get people to sell out of this, which is great for us because we want to get back into this when we have an opportunity to. So I think for now it would just be patient with GEV. If this consistently starts to trade back under 1,000, I think it's worth another look.
Okay, great breakdown there. Let me know, what else do you want to take a look at? Yassine wants to take a look at CoreWeave. Here we go, real quick. Anne-Marie says, I totally agree, but GEV does need to breathe. So what are we thinking here? Pull back towards that 200? I mean, we might not even get that. The last time we were at the 200 was all the way back in April of 2025. So we might not actually even test that. But if we come in, let's take a look at the halfway through this channel. I have this at about 900. So you talked about being under 1,000, maybe 900 might be one of those spots to kind of target there.
Yeah, I think for now, the thing I'd be watching is the 20-week SMA. This was the SMA that kind of gave me a good sense of when to start picking this up, because it was like just under, I think just underneath the 20-week, and then it popped back over it. And that's when I started jumping into this. So, and then I went for a ride, and it rode the entire 20-week up. So I think if we start to lose this 20-week, then we're going to see a little bit more move to the downside. And that should present us with our opportunity to get back in. So kind of waiting for to see us begin to close underneath the 20-week SMA.
Okay. All right. Great. GEV. Anything else that you want to go to, 13? Do you want to take a look at CoreWeave?
Sure. Whatever you guys want.
Do you want to give SPY levels by chance? Acorns is asking for SPY levels. Would you like to do either one of those? I need to go to the washroom, so I would say pick which one you like.
I can do both, but I'll start with CoreWeave and then we can go to SPY.
Will do. Let me load up CoreWeave here. I'm going to keep this on a daily chart for now, but I can switch when I get back to any longer term chart. I'll be right back. Okay, so CoreWeave, we just have been sinking lately, and we recently came down to a bottom, a familiar bottom that we had in March, at the end of March this year. So it looks like we could be reversing here off that support level, which is about 67.50. It may not be exact, but that's about where it is. So if we are going to turn around and come back up, because we did have low RSI at the same time, 85 is the big level that we need to get back over. And I've had 85 marked off here for a long period of time, back in 2025 when this was, that debuted. And this 85 was a support level back in August and September last year. And that is a spot where the price reversed and tried to climb back higher up into the 140s. We lost that level back in November that same year, kind of went sideways alongside it before moving up in April of this year. Now that we're back down beneath it, 85 is going to come back to be a resistance level. So, and that lines up pretty nicely with the 20-day SMA. So I think you do have some pretty tough resistance at 85. When does this thing report earnings, by the way? Because that could change a little bit of a thought here. August 11th. It's unconfirmed for August 11th. So it looks like it'll be sometime in August. And that may be about where the time where you see the bottoming occur, possibly after their earnings. I would say I just don't know what to expect from their earnings, but when if we are sinking into their earnings and we continue lower into that print, I think you have a much greater chance of this turning around and recovering, maybe even getting back above the $85 level. After earnings, if their print is good enough. But for now, I think that's what I would kind of leave you with. 85 is the big resistance level with that 20-day SMA. Mm-hmm. And we are sinking, we're trading lower into the earnings print next month, which is about 12 days away, unconfirmed. So that's how I would be watching CoreWeave right now. See if we are going to get that rejection at 85. And if we do, just wait out the earnings, I would say. Okay. All right, good stuff there. CoreWeave, did you want to give some SPY levels really quick?
Let's do SPY. SPY, I've got all kinds of levels for. So how about that with that 748 level?
I commented on it again here this morning. Pretty good ad there. This is why we do this, though. This is why we talk about these levels all the time.
Yeah, so 748 has, I don't have it marked off on my chart, but when you look at the price action since we got up here in May, there's a very clear indication that 748 is going to need high volume moves to get through in either direction or gaps. Because if you look at 748, you look at the price action, every time that we've interacted with it, you have a series of wicks that indicate there's been rejection or support at this level. But anytime that there's ever been a move through it, it's a massive candle or a gap. So 748 certainly a very important level here in SPY. As far as support at this stage, I would be looking at the 743.91 previous all-time high. That's going to be slightly beneath the 50-day SMA. The 50-day SMA and the 20-day SMA are also going to be support areas. But I think I would kind of lean, and you can just round it up to like 744. But 740 has also been the line in the sand for downside here since the beginning of the month. We opened at 745, and we have not closed, or we've tested, underneath 740, but no closes beneath that. And every time that we do test underneath 740, the very next day we're much higher. So just a few levels there to keep in mind and watch for. 740 support really reverses these this index and takes it back up. So there's several levels for you. Hopefully that helps. 750 is another level you can mark off, as well as 755. I think if we do recapture 755, we're going to go on to new all-time highs.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there. That actually gives you a plan there as well. Good morning, Retro. It's great to see you. How about the Qs? I mean, we don't do this every day. Maybe we should. Let's take a look at the Qs here. So number one, this still kind of feels like the broader market, right? It still kind of feels sideways, slight downward bias here. We are beneath both the 50 and the 20. I'd first be looking at this 20. Also worth noting, let me see how far. Yeah. So if we go all the way back out to 2026, here we go. Oh, actually, incorporating that puts our, I don't know if there's much of a takeaway here for the volume point of control. Since we moved up to this area, it's right about 712. So we're still just kind of oscillating around the midpoint. But it looks like 712, 714, going to be sticky areas of resistance. Get in there, 13.
Put a horizontal line at 868 and 50 cents.
868?
I'm sorry, 686. I swear I don't have dyslexia.
I was like, what? 686, and what was the value?
50 cents.
50 cents. Got it right here. Beep, boop.
And then you can see where there's support being had on the daily chart. And it gets even more interesting when you go to a weekly and then a monthly. So that's kind of the support level we're dealing with right now. That's been keeping the market up here in this consolidated area. You also have the 20-week estimate coming up to provide additional measure of support. But I think if we start to lose this 686, I got it right that time, 686.50 level, then we may see some bigger moves to the downside. I would think that sets us up for a move to, let's say, 635. I could see that the price coming in if we lose the 20-week SMA and that 686 level. So just something to keep in mind here. We're being held up. There's one particular level that stands out where we're getting support, and I think if we lose that support, it could mean significantly more downside for the Qs.
Okay, good stuff. There you go, the Mitchells, and you are most welcome. JJ Design wanted to take a look at Intel. That's ticker INTC. Here's what Intel looks like. This does look like it's bouncing off of the 20-day moving average. You know, we talked about, the 20-week moving average. If we look at the daily chart, you get a more clear idea. We've actually talked about this $100 level just being kind of like the round psychological number, and you can see we've kind of oscillated around that. So I would also incorporate $100 into this. This to me, and actually let's extend this trend line here too, because this should absolutely serve as resistance if we do end up trading up. Let's see, if I'm estimating that value here for today, it's about 111. Our 20-day moving average is pitched down at 114. That should also provide some resistance here. Intel, for the most part, looks kind of sideways here.
Yeah, it's also broadening a little bit here since we got up to over $100 back in May. This is the price action that's been happening here is that we've been putting in higher highs and lower lows, and usually with this formation, when you have a very, very steep rise and then we start to broaden, that's a megaphone pattern that are usually bullish. I don't know if I'm going to completely lean on that, because it also looks like the price action we've been getting lately could be a little bit bearish, and I don't know what to expect from the earnings tomorrow. But if they're good and the market likes what they see, then we're going to get a pretty solid resolution of this megaphone pattern. We will certainly come back up to 120, maybe even go to 140. So that would be something I'd be keeping an eye on here with this pattern. But if earnings are not great, then I think that you're going to have resistance at 110, and we will probably end up coming down towards 80. If we lose 80, we're gap filling to what is this, about 67. So there's some downside levels and upside levels for you. We are in a bit of a bullish looking pattern that kind of doesn't look so great on the weekly. But if we come back up and start looking like we're challenging 140, I think we're breaking out and we're going higher.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there. And I did go ahead and add the broadening what I think formation on there. Gary's asking, did you cover CPHI, which went like 800% yesterday? No, we really didn't. This is more of just kind of a China junker name. We talked about this yesterday in happy hour. I don't really think there's anything here. I would avoid this today. This would be a straight avoid.
Yeah, looks like an HKD.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like it absolutely crushed a whole bunch of people. Okay, we got less than 3 minutes left here.
Oh, Lab T is getting some movement here just before we open the regular session. Keep an eye on that.
And really quick, Ondas getting mentioned here by the group. Ondas, yesterday's intraday high about 787. We actually tested that on the back of that financial juice mention that I got about weighing not allowing foreign military drones, and then of course focusing on U.S. made ones. You can see what Ondas is doing here. It's actually banging into that resistance from yesterday. Now, several of you also said that there was some news here. So obviously this broke after the show here. Ondas received $70 million in new orders throughout its defense, security, and autonomous technology platforms. Let me get this PR broken down here for you. Obviously, I couldn't prepare for this. This is good news. This is part of the good news flow that we've seen here on Ondas. We want this to continue. Really, there's a question in here about breaking through the range that's really kind of stopped this here. I think you said it was 9 to 11. Let me see if I can find that in here. Yeah, 9 to 11. Here's the deal. I think we're expecting earnings here pretty soon on this. And I don't know if it's going to have the power to go through that until we get through that. It's unconfirmed for the 11th. We'll see if I can get a confirmation on that. I'll poke around here. But I really think the earnings coming up here in the middle or beginning of next month is going to be that critical factor. Really, before we even talk about 11, let's get back above the 200-day at 941. Honestly, let's get above that. Let's close above that. Kathy here mentioned this yesterday. Schwab borrowed my shares. Must be an increase in short interest. Kathy.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Are you now that you mentioned that yesterday? Did they again do it here today, or are you repeating there from yesterday? Taking a look here at the short interest, 34.89%. This is as of the read on July 10th. We're actually expecting one here pretty soon. So possible squeeze action here, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I would think so.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel. Ondas earnings is August 10th. I'll have my news desk confirm that and get that updated in the calendar. But my point remains, right? That I think is going to be the big catalyst. We really need to see yet another good print here, and then maybe we can talk about double digits again. All right, I'm going to flip over to the main workspace. Get ready to go here. Let's have a good one. They still have my shares. They pay me interest to hold them. Hey, at least you're getting paid, Kath. At least you're getting paid. All right. You had mentioned that Lab T moved a little bit, right? Yes, it did. Here we go. So here's your Lab T chart. We're about to open. Let's have a good one, folks.
Yeah, and we can get into SMCI's preliminary Q4 report later on, but there's still an actual report that's coming. All right, so here we go with Lab T. Looking for, I would say, trying to get to the 740 area. INLF, that's lower. Trying to get some support from that 200 EMA. ZCMD, the Zong Chao name that we laughed at. We did get a pop-up close to that resistance area I was mentioning, 265. We're above VWAP now. Maybe we do get a move past this seller here. There it goes. 265 to 290 is the area I'm looking for resistance. We'll see if this move up takes us there. And she's going.
All right. So real quickly here, this is the news on Ondas. This is directionally positive, but it's more of a sentiment visibility PR than a high quality financial catalyst. So that really goes to what I was just saying about the earnings and how important those are going to be. For a company of Ondas's size, this is a material order intake. It suggests that the pipeline conversion is improving. The demand is not theoretical. It's actual demand, which is definitely good. And they may be entering a revenue inflection phase. So we'll see. What do you have? Sorry?
Well, look at your screen.
Oh, ZCMD popped right up to that 280. It's going to halt here.
Yes, it is.
And it's halted. Halt timestamp 9:31:30 on that halt. 9:36:30 is going to be your opening time.
Now do this for me with those two wicks in the pre-market. Okay, I don't need to say less. All right, I need to say less.
No. I was going to get to this earlier. I know exactly what you're talking about. There's our target.
Yeah, this will probably open. It may hit 310. It may go to this trend line. It may even go past the trend line all the way up to 4. don't know what to expect, but I think if you took the trade here, whatever happens out of this halt might be where you want to sell into. I'm not going to tell you how to trade this. You're already having a pretty good morning if you took this one at the open, but let's not give this company any money. Let's make sure we take our gains off the table or pay ourselves.
Yeah.
I'll leave it up to you how you want to do that, but with this halt here, I think I'd be setting some levels.
An ADB, excuse me, I knew I was going to screw it up. ADVB, this also popped into a halt right above its VWAP by 7 cents there. Halt time on this one, 9:31:20. So we're going to have two of these stocks unhalt within 10 seconds of each other in the next couple of minutes here.
EKS mentioning Calmain, the egg producer, CALM.
Yep. I think he also mentioned T, which is AT&T, that reported great earnings here this morning. Here's Calmain, maybe bouncing back after its earnings.
Looks like INLF is trying to get going here. It's getting support from that 200 EMA. It's still got to work through some other EMAs. The 65 EMA is going to be the true test here if we're going to see some more upside. If we get through that, I think we could see the VWAP. LABT, this is now coming down to its VWAP here. It's going to be an area where it's going to need to get some support, because if it doesn't, I think, didn't you have a fair value for this, for LABT?
Yes, I did. Let me remark it on the chart here. Sorry, that was on my other one. It's going to be right in here.
All right, so if we lose this VWAP, I think that's the zone that we go into with LABT. Now you were mentioning, let's see, we've got Calmain, and what else, others were you talking about?
T was the other one that EKS mentioned.
Okay, so this had worse than, Calmain had worse than, wow, that is a big EPS miss. But I think it was so overdone with this sell-in that it's getting bought up here at the open. That's just the way it looks to me. I don't know that this is going to hold up here. It looks like this could still go lower. That's a nasty miss.
Okay, I added LABT to the fair value gap universe here, so we'll see if the bot ends up trading that if we get a setup on it. Okay.
Right now, it's getting some support from VWAP, but we're still in this candle. I don't know if it's going to necessarily turn around here and go back up over 6 meaningfully yet.
SMCI on its way back to 30. Now, what's notable about that is that although we were above 30 on the back of the preliminary results released yesterday, we were unable to get above that here in the pre-market today. We would definitely want to watch that, see if we can get above $30. That's SMCI. And your LABT back in at VWAP at 577, and actually just, well, it's dancing around it. I beg your pardon. Westcap, we're waiting for that ADVB unhalt here. 9:36:20 is the time that we're waiting on for that.
Kathy and EKS, you guys mentioning some other server builders like Dell and HPE, Hewlett Packard Enterprises. I think those are going off of what SMCI is doing. It's a real sympathy play, unless they actually have news themselves. I just think that that's what you're seeing those up on is SMCI's movement. All right, LABT lost the VWAP, so watch for the fair value entry. INLF still holding that 200 EMA, but I don't feel great about this one. And then we're just waiting for ZCMD to unhalt to see where this ends up going, if it hits our trend line or if it creates a new generation of bag holders.
And speaking of new generation of bag holders, CPHI, the big China pump runner from yesterday, that is now out of its halt. That is to the downside. It's only to the downside here today. Both volume and price candles were open, and it looks like we're going to test lower here. A huge opening drop on Palantir. I'm seeing the same thing on Palo Alto, on Amazon, on Costco. Ondas back above 8. Goldman Sachs looks like it's trading well here today. And your VIX, by the way, is sitting right down in the 1730 handle. Oil, interestingly enough, has come in from its morning highs of 88.61. We're currently at 86.28 on the futures.
Yeah, Palantir can come right on in because I still need that to hit 90.
We need that call to work. There's no doubt.
Got my Netflix call. Took a while, but I got it. Happy about that. Now I want to see the company actually do something with their content. That'll be a catalyst for me. If they actually can demonstrate they've got good content coming into the pipeline, maybe a turnaround stories there. But I just don't have any faith in their ability to write good TV shows or movies.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, so bot has no trades yet. I actually added a feed to my bot that says close calls. So I'm basically looking for things that almost met entry criteria but did not quite meet it. Palantir on that list here today. So that is working so far. By the way, Lab T, I know we talked about that possibly going to the fair value area. It actually looks like it's trying to recapture its VWAP at the moment.
We should be getting an unhalt here pretty soon with ZCMD, I believe, and that other one. And there's also mentioned that mining stocks are all up. Glad to see that. My NEM and FCX are doing well. Like to see it.
Really quick on those halts. We're past the 5-minute halt time for both of those names. So Jay Wild here mentioning it's probably a 10-minute halt. That's what it looks like here to me. I'll keep you posted on that. But we are past 9:36:30. So we'd be looking at 9:41:20 and 9:41:30 as the possible unhalt times for those two halters.
LABT trying to recapture that VWAP. INLF still trying to hold that 200 EMA. It's kind of wait and see for me at the moment.
Yep, I'm with you on that. Lion, how about you? I've been awfully quiet here today, or since we opened, I should say.
Well, he's not doing anything. He's just enjoying his coffee.
Which is great. I think everyone should enjoy their coffee. But we know as traders that most of our time is not actually clicking buttons, but instead waiting and preparing. So if you find yourself in that spot, what are you looking at here? Does Micron continue to curl back up? Do we get a similar move in SanDisk? Let's take a look and see what that looks like. SanDisk a little bit weaker than Micron here today. Kathy asking, how do they determine a length of a halt? Kathy, I have been trying to figure this out in a way where I can kind of summarize it accurately every time, and I can't do it. Some of these volatility halts seem to be 5 minutes. Some of them seem to be 10 minutes. Sometimes you first get a 5, then you get a 10, then you get an indefinite halt. It seems to be all over the board. Best thing I can do is just kind of watch and see what happens at that 5 and 10 minute threshold and go from there. If any of you have a better explanation for that, I'm all ears. Krusty the Clown, boom. That's, of course, KUST. Sorry, I should actually go with the real ticker instead of the name. Coming into resistance here, 140. See if you pop that.
Yeah, and you're mentioning the Paramount and Warner Brothers. There's a halt right now on that merger. While other, it's like maybe 12 or so states are trying to get their opinions in, or they want to fight that merger. So they're trying to make their case with that. So they're being given time for that. I don't know that's going to materially. I don't know if it'll impact it, but it's certainly delaying it.
And really quick, Anne-Marie talked about CHOP earlier. So I know we had that initial push from the SPY, took us right to 747. We're trading sideways since then. So we'll see. Maybe we do get a sideways. Maybe we do get a little bit of a pullback and it goes for that CHOP here. But so far, we do not have the strength to bust above 747. Let me get an actual value here from the chart. 747.50 looks to be that spot that's stopping it. Lion, you have Google calls. There you go. I've been asking about that all morning. Lion, I got to know, are you holding the Google calls through the earnings tonight? Google straight down out of the gate here today. Are you looking for maybe a bounce back, a run into earnings, or are you actually holding this for the earnings print itself? And then also, what calls and expiry do you have there in Google? Lab T still dancing around its VWAP, although it is above it. ADVB is open. Indeed, that was a 10-minute halt. Get ready for ZCMD here. ADBT pre-market high resistance area and through, and should halt again at 1107 if it holds.
BMNR, and this might be the same for some other crypto names that aren't Bitcoin related. This has been taking off, and I think one of the reasons for that. And I think one of the reasons for that is because we were discussing yesterday the Clarity Act could be or it's expected to be on the Senate floor for a vote this week. That might end up being the catalyst that either takes us higher or turns it around. They know that there's a large threshold that needs to be met in order to have this pass. They need 60 votes, and even if they do pass that, then it still has to go back to the House for their reconciliation, and they have to pass the Senate version. So still many hurdles for the Clarity Act, but the fact that it's even being discussed about being brought to the floor this week is bullish for a lot of crypto.
Okay, and Lion, thank you. That Google trade, you are holding that for the earnings print. By the way, I didn't see ZCMD on halt here, guys.
No, it hasn't.
That's got me worried then about that halt. There's Corey. There's Corey. He's watching BMNR. Let me know what you think on that. I'm not surprised.
Well, there was also some news late last night regarding some of this, and I think it was an exclusive because it's like I got red highlighting here, and it looks like it was regarding this Clarity Act bill that we're discussing.
Ondas, Cust, and BMNR at the top of the scanner here.
Wow.
And SPY looks like it is trying to break here. I did get a buy indicator there on my study. Nothing on the bot, though. I am trying the SPY here. Stop at break even 128 on those calls.
And then also, because we look at it frequently, Wolf with a U is also up as well. Looks like LABT coming down to that fair value area that you'd outlined for us.
Yep, let me do that here. We'll see if we get a spot there.
INLF did hold the 200 EMA. It is going beyond the 65 EMA now, searching out that VWAP that I have at 423 right now. So we are looking at a potential hit here on the VWAP. It's got to get to that psychological level of 4. But this is this INLF, this little junky name that had 64,000 shares, according to our float here in Pro. This is moving up to the VWAP.
Okay. All right. So SPY is trying to trade up. I put a stop above the entry price, so that trade can't lose. We're going to try and let this one run. Hopefully it doesn't just pull right back in. We'll see. Bot still hasn't taken anything here today.
Now, you guys are mentioning SpaceX. We do still have another attempt on that Flight 13 coming tomorrow. Right now, matter of fact, I will double check and see where they're at, because I saw that they were moving the booster portion out last night. That's on the launch pad. That's good to go. Next up is they're going to be rolling out the Starship itself. It should be this morning that they do that. I see that there's a closure this morning, so they may be moving that out later, this morning, and then stacking it, and then we'll see this candle get lit tomorrow afternoon around 5:45 when it's planned to launch. So, barring any other setbacks or delays, this is looking like this is getting set up to be launched tomorrow afternoon.
Just took gains on that SPY 0 DTE, so we're 1 for 1 on that. That is me doing it manually, by the way. That's not the bot. So 1 for 1 there on the SPY on that break higher here. Good stuff on SpaceX there. Very curious to see how this plays out. Here's what, oops, I typed in the wrong ticker. My bad. Here's what the SPY looks like all out for right now on this move higher. And that indicator is doing it.
Look at where it's at. Do you see the price it was just at there? There it is.
748. Let's see if we get through it.
And look at that consolidation to the left.
Yeah. Right around 748. I mean, that is clearly a level.
Mm-hmm. So we could see a potential reversal here on that. Wow. There is some real big activity happening here with these crypto names. BMNR is about to hit 18. You already know I love silver. So I will look at that.
LABT, that continues to pull back. We'll see if that gets any type of support within the fair value area. Interesting. The bot took a SPY 0 DTE call and stopped out 1 second or 1 cent beneath the entry. It bought it at 154 and it sold it at 153. And interestingly enough, that was on the move up to 748. So the trend was weak and it reversed. That was its reason for exiting. All right, that's going to give me data to look into. Sorry, 13, go ahead.
No worries. I'm just curious about this. This is another miner, or do they, it doesn't seem like they have, oh, I see why you know about this one. It operates in Morocco. I get it now. So yeah, I get, let me know a little bit more about how this operates. Cause my favorite one's Wheaton. Because they're a streamer, then there's a lot less leverage on their end. So tell me a little bit more about this one. Are they leveraged or do they have less leverage like Wheaton, or do they actually own mines? There it is.
Yeah, I was going to say, Webcoin, your test is passed. Also, ZCMD did unhalt. It looks like it resumed. Oh, I lost it there. It looks like it resumed at 946.31. So it was indeed that 10-minute halt there, rehalted immediately as it broke above the trend line there, 418 your halt price, and that halt time on the second halt, 946.48.
Yeah, and just because of the risk involved with this is, if I had taken that at the beginning and had waited out that halt, this is where I would have probably been out. Maybe this goes a little bit higher. I do have some more levels to the upside. 465 and 520 are the next big levels that I have here. Could go up there. Maybe it turns right around and comes back in. Maybe it tests that trend line that we just broke over. I do not know what's going to happen next with this, but this is, a substantial positive gain here. And I think this is where I would have been out with this, because I don't want to stick around in these high risk stocks too long. And I don't want to be one of those folks that gives, that donates to this cause.
Yeah, so, I'm with you on that.
No bag holding wanted here. This is, I think I would be out at this point. And it could still go. It could still go higher. INLF, though, meanwhile, still trying to tickle that VWAP there. It's very, very close. Could be a side of rejection. We could get sent back down to the 65 EMA if it fails to capture that. But if it moves through it, then I would say 485 could be the next resistance.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there. Ondas, by the way, I did actually see some $8 calls get bought in there. Ondas having a nice move here out of the open. Look, one of the things that we know about this stock, don't chase these moves higher, right? You want to be positioning on the down days, which we know we're going to see. And then maybe if you're short-term trading this, selling into these moves higher. This is a nice move here for Ondas. Pretty good volume yesterday, and it looks like we're getting a repeat of that here today. Lab T technically did go into the fair value gap area briefly. Yep, we got a little bit of a wick there. Generally speaking, we'd like to maybe take this a little bit further down, maybe 450-ish, but nonetheless.
I was wondering, Lion, does IA own their mines, or are they just just owning the production like Wheaton? Because I noticed that they have a pretty good balance sheet and their debt's relatively low. So I'm just wondering, is that the way they operate, or do they actually have mines? I'm just curious.
Aya has a great advantage as a first mover to mine in Morocco, low taxes and all kinds of support from its government. So it's getting some help there.
Yeah, subsidized, likely it seems. Yeah. So there you go.
Yep.
Thanks for that, Line.
Yep, thank you. SPY rolling over a bit here. Looks like we're coming back in.
Oh, you mean that 748 was the level?
Yep, 748 proved to be a level again. And I just want to reiterate what you had said earlier. It took a lot of volume to move through that in the regular session. Otherwise, the only other way to move through in either direction for that was a gap through it, which we did not get here today. So that resistance showing up there, and our inability to break it also tells us that the volume, not impressive yet here.
Let's see, Selena, you must be referring to an intraday chart, right?
That's for you, Bigabees. Nice job on your IWM call. Sorry, 13.
No worries, because it's not anywhere near an overbought level on the daily chart. I do see that we have gapped up kind of 2 days in a row here, and we, today we gapped up over the 20-day SMA, which great. But the RSI is 51 on the daily, so we could still move much higher than this. we were just coming off of a 34 RSI earlier this week. So I think that there's a significant more upside. But if you're looking at an intraday chart, that could be the case, because we are coming up to a little bit of a resistance area around 117.50. I would imagine that if we do climb up to that level, we could find intraday resistance. But ultimately, this looks like it's still on its way to higher levels because it's not overbought on the daily chart. Cost breaks. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so there could be I totally understand that there's some back and forth intraday, but on a daily chart, this looks like this is trying to turn around here and get back up over 120. INLF, we barely touched the VWAP, and then a big red candle sent us back through the 65 EMA and down to the 200 EMA. So that might indicate that there's not a whole lot left here in INLF. We lose that 200 EMA. Like I said earlier, I think it's going to be done. Lab T, meanwhile, trying to hold itself up at this level and get out of the fair value area, go on to have a better day. We'll see if that ends up panning out. BMNR trying to get through 18. Another halt for okay. So ZCMD, you're looking for. Oh, you're talking about what's next. So I have 520 as a potential level. The next levels I've got marked off here to upside is going to be 465 and 520. You're looking at 510. Take it. We'll see if that's what we get out of the halt here. And what are some of these other names doing here? Looks like there's support happening in SpaceX since we got closer to that 120 level. How close did we get, actually? Not too close. We didn't even lose 121.75. So 120 is 20% down from the opening price. So that had a little bit of support back on Monday. So when we get back down there, I would want to see if we get that support again.
SPY continuing to march higher here, by the way. S&P futures are just straight green here. I know SPY stopped a little bit at 748. Now it is making an attempt to get through that. That also confirms that 748 is a key level for us, because it absolutely found intraday resistance there. Now, the other thing here about 748, let's see if we can close above this. We had plenty of candles yesterday, especially on this 5-minute chart that traded above it, but boy, oh boy, had a tough time holding it. So we'll see here. Actually, it did hold it, but it was literally right on the nose. We'll see if we can get through 748 meaningfully here. Tesla back up? Sorry, go ahead, 13.
Lion was just saying that now is a great buy at this level. Excuse me, that's NOW. And
okay, so that's software.
We should also be getting an unhalt of ZCMD. Excuse me, just had a little hiccup there pretty soon. So ZCMD, that's coming. That should be unhalting here soon if it's a 10-minute halt.
Now pulling back here. So, Lion, you're adding now on weakness. You're assuming software actually looks like it's coming in here. Microsoft doing the same thing.
Yeah, but now it's hold on. I'm looking at a 5-minute chart. Let me look at a daily here. Because on a 5-minute chart, that thing was really getting oversold. So there could be a bounce coming soon on now intraday. Let me just look at something here real quick. Interesting little trend line we've got going on here with now. If you take all the low prints from this year and draw a trend line underneath them, they kind of all line up. So I'm thinking maybe that trend line is where the price ends up going, which would take it to about $93.
Now, Eric, good mention here. I'm actually sorry I didn't mention this. Now has earnings today, right? Yes, indeed. Now, ServiceNow reports earnings after the bell today. Daniel saying that Lab T is done. Lab T is now firmly in the fair value gap area. We do also have the bottom The standard deviation of the VWAP to the bottom here is at 390. That is exactly where our 65 EMA is here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be watching that 390 area.
Still no unhalt from ZCMD yet.
Correct.
So we look, might end up being a 15.
And more highs in the SPY. I actually did not, on this last little dip from 748 and curl through the 9 EMA, I actually did not get a buy indicator from the study. And actually, we are outside of the trade 1 window. We're waiting for the trade 2 window to start here. Starts in 3 minutes. NBIS looks like that's up another 5.5% or 4.5%. Excuse me. SPY continues to print new highs. Would imagine I know we took a look at the Qs earlier. Let's do that again. Here's what the Qs look like. That also at the highs. These SPY's already green. NASDAQ might be going red green here.
Wolf with the U and IREN, some names we've been looking at this week. They are just continuing higher, especially IREN. That is now looking for 43.40. It's higher than it's been all week.
Nice move here on IREN today. Wow.
Cust levels. We'll just look and see what we got here. I haven't looked at KUST yet today. All right, so levels that I've already got marked off here, pretty easy. 150, 175, 190, and 210. All upside levels. Currently struggling with that 175 level right now. If we get through this, 190 is next. That's what I've got for levels here. There's more to the upside after that, like 250, 265, but those are the ones I have for now. I don't even know what's causing the upside here today. Let's take a look.
And real quick, Eric, you were asking about Cerberus levels here. Do you have any levels for Cerberus or SMCI? We look like we're basically right at a resistance area here, 245 on Cerberus.
Yeah, KUST doesn't look like there's any news. It's just a very low float, so it looks like it's getting taken for a ride. Cerberus, on the other hand, this is coming up to a resistance level back from June. When we lost this, let's call it, I guess, 245, 250. When we lost this area back at the beginning of June, there was multiple attempts to try to recapture it. All failed. It sent it lower, the price lower. Now we're back up here trying to get back above this very same level again where we were getting rejected in June. So getting over 250 is, I think, what needs to happen next with CBRS. We need to see some closes over that.
Okay.
C-Boogie.
Yep. I was just reading the same comment at the same time. Looks like now double bottom. Are you talking about an intraday? Let me take a look at the daily chart here and see. Basically holding on. This was what, Monday's candle? Yeah, so let's go back to that intraday chart and take a look at it. So I think this is what you're saying here, C-Boogie. Here's your double bottom, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but this looks like this is a support area. Cerberus calls going off, by the way, 222.5 for this week, for Friday.
I mean, the price, and now when you back out the 5 minute, you can see that this isn't the first time we've had a drop and then a big turnaround down at these levels. This seems to happen with service now. It's been happening ever since the month started. We started off, we had a big move down that took us to 101.50. Big reversal took us back up. And then July 14th, same thing. July 16th, same thing. Yesterday, same thing. Today, same thing. So I don't know what's going on with service now, but it seems like when we get these big drop downs, they recover. Just back out that chart. You can on 5-minute time basis. You can see it's been the same thing all month.
Oh yeah.
Just keep going, keep backing out. Here it is again.
Yep. And again.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on here that's causing these big drops and then intraday recoveries, but this is where it's been trading lately.
Just kind of going back there, scrolling back, it kind of looks like this $98 level is some pretty good support.
Yeah. So I don't know that I would necessarily say it's a double bottom, but there's certainly some support down in this $98 handle that has been reversing the price action every day that it's been down here. So I don't know what that's about, but if there's any consistency to this, then that's probably what you can expect. This should recover. All right. Wow. So we're still waiting for ZCMD to unhalt. Concerning. INLF. This is trying to recover all that that was given up on that red candle about 15 minutes ago. It's back over the 65 EMA. It's looking to challenge that VWAP again. LABT, finally a green candle after entering the fair value gap. We'll see if this actually turns around.
And look at that. We did not. That makes it a little bit more difficult. There's no doubt about it. We did not quite get down to that 395. It looks like the low was actually like 415-ish. But we are getting a bounce here. Let's see if we can get back above the top end of this fair value gap. I would also say, by the way, given this action, if somehow you manage to take this and you're in the green, I would just put a stop at break even. I'd be looking for the bounce now. If it gets it, great. You got to trade. If not, protect your capital. There will be another opportunity. We're in the fair value gap. This is now no longer unmitigated. So if it doesn't do the bounce from here, I think you're okay kicking it to the curb.
Yeah, KUST. That just popped up to 185 and then reversed. So lost that 175 area. And I was looking, we got past 175, 190 was the next resistance. So sorry, 5 cents away. But we are coming down to the VWAP here, and that could be an area of support. You also have the 150 level right beneath it. That was also previously support in the last candle. So coming down to some support areas here, KUST.
Okay, bot took 2 more trades here. It took the QQQ 0 DTE 708 and the SPY 749 contract. I'll update you on that. 2 active trades from the bot. Remember, those are paper trades until otherwise noted.
Tess, I'm sure that's the case. I'm just looking at it from a 5-minute chart over the past month, and that's what I noticed. I'm sure I could see how great it's been over the past few years if I looked at a longer term time chart. But so far, this month, that seems what the play has been. These big drops tend to get picked right back up and taken back up to where they fell from. KUST also coming back up to 175.
Real quick, bot stopped out of the QQQ on a loss of the 9 EMA per the rules, still in the SPY trade, which is green. SPY continues to push higher, it looks like.
Why is it? It's really weird. We are seeing some small caps get some good attention here.
Well, let me take a look at the IWM here real quick.
It's kind of flat.
Yeah, it is actually. It's up from the open, but on the day it's flat, 13. Anne-Marie says this feels like a squeeze. Squeeze me home. Squeeze me home. We are green on the SPY trade. Nice.
Now,
entry was at 140, current mark 165 on those contracts. We'll see how this trade finishes up.
The IWM is trying to get back above that 20-day SMA. It's been trying to do this, for a good portion of the month. We can get multiple closes above, like at least 3 closes above this 20-day SMA. Again, I think we're looking for a move over 300.
You guys, Brandon, excuse me. You're mentioning CoreWeave here, which we looked at earlier, and I think we talked about that 85 being a level. I recall correctly from your breakdown.
Careful.
Anyway, we're pushing through 85 now on
Careful with
close.
cust. Be careful with cust. This is flagging several upper shadows. This could be a potential reversal here in KUST. If this can't get back above 175, I think this comes back in underneath the web.
Goldman Sachs report says record shorts in the broad market. Great fuel for a squeeze. Okay. So that adds credence to our squeeze, our potential squeeze there.
I wonder if that's what has funds interested in these small caps. They could just squeeze these things, then move on to the next one. Still no on halt from ZCMD. Oh, nice. Joe's writing KTOS.
Palantir Bear ETF going higher here. Let me take a look at KTOS real quick.
BlackBerry is back over 9.
Stopped out of my other trade on the bot there, and that was a loss of the 9 EMA. So interesting. Those two recent trades went green initially and then got stopped out for a peanuts loss on the downside on the loss of the 9 EMA. So interesting. That gives me good data, though, to work off of. Call wall breach on the ES. What was that? Was that at 748, Anne-Marie? ADVB, yeah, I got it right. ADVB, that is halted to the upside again at 1078, just shy of 11 there.
Why I'm mentioning Las Vegas Sands, this is in the process of trying to recapture the 20-day SMA, which it has not closed above since it looks like the middle of June. So that would be a significant, catalyst here. But they also have earnings after the close today. And it looks like this could end up climbing up to around 48.50 if on a positive earnings report. One of the things that we've talked recently about with one gentleman who lives in Las Vegas is that there's very clearly fewer low-income earners visiting Las Vegas. It's a lot more of the real high-end folks that are
and furthermore, they're catering to those people too.
Yes.
So they're giving those people additional perks, perhaps another night stay, comping a room, something of that. So I think one of the things that you can derive from that is that they understand that they're losing part of their market, and they're trying to do whatever they can to keep the high end of the market there in the casinos themselves. That's my takeaway on that.
Yep. All right, INLF. This is moving through VWAP. Hilarious.
Yeah, Las Vegas Sands has no Las Vegas casinos. Well, I think we've actually mentioned that before, but that's a really good reminder.
But it's interesting because people do want to go, oh, this would be a great time to bring up that what's that big sphere that they have, because it's a stock.
It's called the Sphere.
Yeah, but what's the ticker? Because I can't remember what it is.
SPHR.
There we go. This thing has been awesome. Look at this from August of 2025 till today. Over it's been almost a year, and this thing has gone just. Let's see, what are we looking at here for a gain? This thing went up 330%. Wow, that's the attraction right there. People want to go see the Sphere.
Yeah, and we've heard actual reports from people that have seen a variety of different shows there say that it is like nothing else. It almost makes other concerts and venues less appealing because of the experience that they have there.
INLF trading above the VWAP now. It's running into a little bit resistance at the 450 level, but it's still holding VWAP. One last thing on Sphere. We did lose the 50-day SMA, something that has ridden up with this 330% rise. So being unable to recapture the 50-day SMA could spell some downside here in the short term. And if that's the case, I think 120 is your next solid-looking support area. Yeah, Las Vegas really isn't much about gambling these days because a lot of that's moved all online.
Yeah, that's true.
So Las Vegas is more about an experience.
Yep. The audio files say the sound sucks. That's interesting. I don't know if any of my big audiophile friends have gone there, but everyone else that I've talked to says it's incredible. 13 called cussed. What happened? I remember him saying, "Be careful."
Yeah, the upper shadows. There it is.
Yep, and there it is.
So the upper shadows I'm referring to is prior to this red candle here, you had 3 candles in a row that were trying to get over that resistance area at 175, and in doing so, they put in these really high looking wicks in the candles. This can usually indicate it's with more certainty than not that the price is about to reverse because you have sellers really gearing up. They're pushing down the buyers. Buyers eventually will give up because the sellers are too strong. You get this result. So there it is with cuss. Now we are coming down to some support levels. So there's still potentially some more trading to be had here, but for now, this is a little bit more of a bearish sentiment. Las Vegas is regrettable for marriages. They had a movie with Cameron Diaz and Ashton Kutcher about that. It was okay.
That was actually back when they were making pretty decent movies too.
Yeah.
I'm just having a thought here live. So I've had 3. The bot got stopped out of the 0 DTE trading strategy 3 times in a row here for a actual loss, a total loss of $55. So the stops were obviously very, very tight here. And I mean, 3 different trades. The first trade, here, where's the time on this? First trade lost $5, second trade lost $15, and the third trade lost $35 for a total of minus 55. I think I might alter the logic that when it stops out and doesn't lose like a very small notional amount, I might keep it running as opposed to just putting the brakes on. I've kind of thought about this bot project in terms of putting guardrails up. So when I actually do go over to real money, I don't come back from the golf course one day and be like, what the hell happened? Want to make sure that we have some actual guardrails on there. But just thinking out loud here, might adjust that a little bit so that it keeps trading because we got a lot of good opportunities today.
Trade Blue, that's a great point about IMAX because they also trade individually. And I think that's a very interesting comparison to make between IMAX and Sphere. They're very much similar in a lot of ways. So great point about that. And there was another point I was making about IMAX yesterday because, and this is with regard to a practice that has been going on for quite a while. But I think there could be a point where these movie studios could get sued by theaters. What I'm referring to is recently The Odyssey came out, and people have been posting online a ton about how they are having a hard time buying these tickets. Like they appear to be sold out on these sites that you can go to get your movie tickets and your seats. But when they get there, the theaters are empty. What's happening is that these studios are buying up seats and canceling at the last minute in order to pump up the numbers and make it appear as if there is some real interest in this movie. And this has been something they've been doing for years now. But I think given all the controversy surrounding this particular movie and that it ultimately means a lack of revenue for the theaters with this practice that they're doing by pumping it up and then canceling, there's going to be a day where these theaters have had enough and they are going to sue the hell out of these studios. I don't know when that's going to be, but I get the sense that it's coming.
I actually didn't even aware that I wasn't even aware that that's going on. 13, if you come across any of those articles, would you mind just sending it over to me so I can read that? That's very interesting. And real quick here, Trevor says, set a total gain loss per day. So I actually have that. I have all stop all systems at minus $1,000. The daily goal is plus $5,000. So the way I look at that is we got a 5-to-1 risk to reward there. But what's happening here is that when we have a very, very tight stop, it's actually triggering another guardrail. The reality, if I'm down $55 in my own trading account on a trading strategy, I'm going to stay with it. That's not a loss that's going to scare me away from actually making new trades. I think I just need to build in some logic there just about if it's very small like this, let it keep going, but otherwise maybe halt it right there. Zach saying, Ryan, increase the stop loss by 1 to 2% and test again. So the stop loss for the fair value gap is in fact 1%. The stop loss on the zero DTE strategy is 20% because they're option contracts, or a loss of one of the moving averages that it uses. So, like I said, this is why we test it. This is why we test it. And this is why I'm telling you folks stuff about this, because I love this idea generation. Eventually, I'm going to get this thing dialed in. I have no doubt about it.
To wrap up what I was saying about the movie theaters, they actually get up to as much as 50% of the gross ticket sales. So you can understand why they'd be pissed that the theaters are doing this practice of trying to make their numbers look better, while the movie theaters, have to deal with this, buying and refunding, and it ultimately it doesn't work out for them because they rely on these movies to succeed and get butts in the seats in order for them to make a profit. So by effectively doing this, they're kind of cutting a lot of revenue out from these movie theaters because they're buying up all these seats, making it look like it's it's actually it's doing well, and then when they cancel all those orders, then actual tickets, buyers are kind of left out because they want to go and see this movie, but they can't get seats, and the seats they do get are crap. They're going to get sued. It's coming.
That's definitely something to watch here.
And wow, look at this with ZSCMD.
I know. I can't believe this. This thing now. This is a massive halt fest, right? So we've had 3 halts here. We're about to have our 3rd resumption, or whenever it comes. Actually, we're not about to. Timestamp here 10/17/04 on the latest halt.
Yeah, we just went right over all the levels that I had here, and now we're in a territory that I don't have any levels. So,
Westcap just took some profits. You had said earlier you were trapped in it. Nah, just open it up so my man can get out of it. Really good stuff there, Westcap. Really good stuff.
Oh yeah, Edward. I watched Troy when that came out back in the theater, and that was a fantastic movie. I enjoyed it. I don't think I like the extended version or the director's cut or whatever they came out with later. I like the original better. Sometimes these directors, they just add a lot of fluff to their movie that's already good.
And Tracy here saying, don't forget the loss of popcorn revenue. And actually, that's not a bad point. I don't know what those numbers actually are, the concession numbers actually are, but we actually just had the AMC CEO on CNBC on Monday morning talking about how they're the largest popcorn seller in the nation. So this does materially matter at the end of the day, Tracy. So that's another thing to kind of put on it. By the way, LABT, which we talked about entering the fair value area, and I had talked about we really want this thing to bounce. It hasn't yet, but look, it is still holding in there. Still holding in there. I don't have a whole lot of hope for this. And just as I started opening my big mouth and flapping my gums, it just reversed. We'll see if this can hold 4. Zach, when it's ready, when it's refined and ready, instead of selling it, rent it. Yeah, I mean, I haven't even got there yet. When I get an actual work, my biggest thing is that there's no way. It's also one of the reasons why I'm not sharing it yet is there's no way I'm putting something out there that leads people to the slaughter. That is the worst possible thing that I could ever do. And I am going to make sure that just never happens. But if I do get something here, I'll let you know. And actually, SPY looks like it's curling back up. Take a look at this. We're back above the 9 EMA. I did get a buy indicator there, or a buy signal. Might try another manual trade here with a tight stop. Oh, did I not get filled on that? Really? Oh, my goodness.
With regard to KUST, if this does lose the 15 EMA, I think you're going to see the next level of support down around 135. That's if it doesn't turn around here and recapture 150.
Okay, so it's, oh man, I was right on the bid. Did not get my real order filled there, unfortunately. Not going to chase it, though. Trey mentioning a memory jump. Let's take a look at Micron and see how some of those memory names are doing. Yep, that is continuing to trade higher here. How about SanDisk? That one was a little bit weaker earlier. SanDisk, red to green. This looks good. You're right on that memory jump. DRAM. fighting through overnight drop-off. Okay, so those are turning around here. Lab T might be done, by the way.
Micron, now it's great that they're trading over their 50-day SMA, but this isn't any higher than it was yesterday. We need to be higher than yesterday. We need to get over this 20-day SMA.
Yeah, it needs to go red-green, yeah.
So I mean, it's green on the day because we are higher than yesterday's close, but we aren't higher than yesterday's highs.
Netflix, why is it strong? I don't know if there was any news on this. 2.4% to the upside here. This looks like just kind of a move with the market, maybe?
Yeah, it was, this thing was one of those hammered down names. It was a sub 31 RSI earlier on Friday. What was it this week? Actually, it was a sub 30 this week when we opened, 28.65 RSI. So I think that that move underneath the 30 RSI probably enticed buying. Because that's kind of what happens. It's what's happened the last time it was down underneath 30 RSI. It was down here for several days, and then it finally pulled itself back up to 50. Still think that could end up happening here, but I don't know that this is going to be a recapture of the 20-day SMA. Looks like this could still go to 73. I don't know that we're going to capture the 20-day SMA yet. When did they report? I think that.
And real quick here, Anne-Marie saying Netflix relief bounce. One of the articles that's in here, the key takeaway is that the stock is undervalued compared to its peers. So you're more likely to see a relief bounce in that environment. The bot needs some coffee. The bot needs more TLC, I think. I'm all in on this project, though. I'm all in. Like, I dove in head first. This is either going to work or it's going to catastrophically fail. And I'll let you know. You'll know for sure. SPY, that's a good mention there. Kenneth, SPY did just breach the VWAP on this rollover here. S&P futures notably coming in towards the VWAP, but still above it.
Take care,
Thank
Judge.
you, Judge. Take care.
INLF, this just printed a new high and is immediately coming right back into VWAP. Lab T, that mention that you just had, that's down here at the 65 EMA. If we lose this EMA, I think then that is when we're going to be done here, because it'll be headed down to the 200 after that. So waiting for that. I mean, I'll see you tomorrow when ZCMD finally unhalts. KUST is trading back above 150. Next resistance level is going to be VWAP. I have that 157. That's next to climb over.
ADBV is unhalted and running into the resistance area from the after hours session on Monday, 1250 here. Oracle is green, Knapp. So Oracle held 120 this week. So I know the week's not over, but so far Oracle came all the way into 120 and held. Let me know what it would take for you guys to swing Oracle long, guys and gals. Whoa. Is he choppy for you guys, or is that a me thing? Uh-oh.
Okay, so Mark Sniper on ZCMD, you have 725 and then 15. I see the 725. That stands out pretty clear to me. 15. So you think we're getting close to that close from May 29th? I mean, there's pretty much, I'll tell you what. I'm there with you on the 725. I would be curious to see what happens at 11. Does 11 make any sense to you? It makes a lot of sense to me. Let me know.
Oracle entry around 120. Nice job, Selena. That was good entry, and that's held so far. It looks like that was kind of an intermittent chop, and it was both of us, so it was probably a connection or a restream issue.
Yeah, because you sounded fine to me.
Interesting. And you sound fine now.
Thanks, producer. So yeah, Oracle, you guys are talking about here. When this thing went underneath 30 RSI, that was starting to look like the time for this to be, taken seriously. We did have a bit of a bottom here around 120, which lines up pretty well with the April 2025 lows. Now, what we want to see next, if this turnaround is real, we're going to want to see a recapture of that 20-day SMA. We're going to want to see a recapture of 140. And there's also a trend line that I've got here, and I think you have it as well, Ryan.
On which one?
This is ORCL. Looks like ZCMD is unhalted.
Yep. And it's going right back up to the highs. It's going to, well, I don't want to say that yet. Too early.
Yeah. So this may be an opportunity for people looking to make their exit.
Don't get trapped in it. That's for sure. Here, let me go to Oracle. I think I know what trend line you're talking about here, 13. So that's going to be this bottom one, right?
Yeah. So that's the next resistance after the 20-day SMA. And that's the way I would be looking at Oracle right now. Those next few resistance levels off this very, very low RSI 120 bottoming, it seems.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
V. Holman saying for Sphere, MOUs for new locations in Abu Dhabi and Washington, D.C. They're slightly smaller than the Vegas one, but the business model allows for future franchising. That's interesting, too. I actually didn't realize that.
I can understand the Abu Dhabi one. I don't get the Washington, D.C. one. I don't get Washington, D.C. Why would we care about that? People go to Vegas because that's a hub for coming in and entertaining yourself or being entertained. I don't really think of it Washington D.C. that way. That's more of like a historical tourist.
Washington D.C. I think of that as a swamp that traded malaria for politics.
So now you get to see your keynote addresses and your speeches in giant Sphere now. Great, can't wait. Yeah, not big fan of Washington D.C. Sphere. I totally understand Abu Dhabi. Okay, so KUST still seeing some resistance at that 150 area, still holding above the 15 EMA. ZCMD halted slightly higher than where it just was.
This is halted. Oh no.
Yeah, slightly. It's halted slightly above where it just was.
Yep.
Just a few cents. Like I said earlier, don't know how great this one's going to be. I think if it's starting to open lower, you might see some lower prints here. I don't know what's going to happen with this for the rest of the day. This is still a low float name. It could continue higher, but it also could come right back in. I think for the purpose of the morning where we have good volume, this has been a great trade if you've been patient enough, but I don't think I'd want to be a participant going forward. That's just
all right. 13, we are out of time here for today. Really good stuff. We're going to get over to the story trading folks here. Any closing words for our group prior to doing that?
Well, let's see what these Google and Tesla earnings give, and let's see if this gives us a revival of tech in the market. We did have some weakness here to start the month off, so see if these earnings prints will turn that around for us. But until then, folks, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Let's see what Google gives us. Goodbye.
All right, 13, have a good one. We'll catch you later. See you on Happy Hour, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Now, do not despair, because 13's departure leaves room for the story trading folk. We've got Ben, we've got Rhett, and we've got Laptop Travel here today. How you boys doing?
Pretty good.
Doing okay.
I'm golden.
Yeah, golden.
There you go.
That's right. I got to bring.
What do you got coming up for us here today?
There's a lot going on today. I mean, it's just I got to tell you, I've had such incredible accurate calls in the past week, but I'm not really profiting much from it because it's just a hard market to trade.
That happens sometimes, though, Ben. That's part of the game.
I've never seen a market like this where you have these crazy rotations. Market can be down big, or the sectors can be down 5-10%, but another sector up 5-10%. And it's like I've been identifying the rotations, but I just don't have the conviction to play it alongside when I see like oil exploding and IWM crashing. Yet at the same time, I give these big price targets, like in the drone sector today. Drone sector is exploding. UMAC 21 target, ONDS 850 target, but I just don't have. I just like end up scalping for small size. I can't do it. And even though it's hitting my own targets, it's just a very hard market for me.
Did you see the tweet from Financial Juice yesterday on the drones? Trump administration weighs banning imports of military-grade drones. That's per the Federal Communications
No,
Commission.
I didn't see it. That's
Okay, so I'll
another
drop this in the
another
chat for
catalyst.
you and anyone else that might want this, but I think that's why we're seeing the move here in drones. Guys, I'll get out of your hair. Have a great session here today. I'll see you in about a half hour.
All right.
Appreciate
Sounds
it.
good. Let me check
Almost
out
at your 21 target.
I know that's crazy. And I already sold it. I only made like $800 on it, and like I already sold it at 2060, and I didn't even have big size because I just can't do size in this market environment. Let me check these IWM puts.
I actually have been trimming them down here, Ben.
Barb and Electric. You've been waiting for American Airlines to drop on oil. I'm watching FlyU ETF. I'm watching DAL, and I'm watching AAL. Just like you, as soon as oil drops,
there's an
jump on those.
ETF that's short the airlines. Do you remember what that ticker is?
Is it Jet Z?
Jets. Is it Jet? Yeah, Jet what?
I want to say Jet Z.
Jet
But something like that.
Jet D. Three
Jet D.
times inverse airlines. Jet D. I played that back when the war initially started.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at that. Well, the inverse ones are not long-term investments. But yeah, if you're making a bet on against airlines, Jet D might be something. Surprised it's not moving yet at all. But man, what a great call by you on gold this morning. I made 50% on those call options. I did get back in some other contracts. So we're looking at that. But I mean, I just can't get past this. I think I need a psychologist or something to figure out, like, I think I need to become a little crazy to trade this market. You know, like all of these stocks we had as top picks on the morning note, well, with the exception of ASTS not working yet, but like Rocket Lab heading to the 74 target, ONDS heading to the 850 target, UMAC heading to the 21 target, PDYN even headed to the 550 target. I had in the Discord this morning. I got shaken out of that, and I just can't. I can't handle it. I see a little dip in the morning, and I'm like, okay, well, it's not going to go because of IWM and oil. That's what happens to me in this kind of market. How do I solve that? Any advice from you guys? I need advice.
Let's see what the audience has to say.
I can't. I just can't handle. I just can't handle these crazy bifurcations. It's for like the first 5 weeks of the crazy bifurcations that happened. Let's all start with the SpaceX IPO. For the first 5 weeks, I was like a deer in the headlights. I'm like, what's going on? Like, how can this sector be up 10%, this sector down 10%, and it's just like every day they choose a different sector. For the longest time, I didn't understand it until I figured out that everyone is fully invested and they want to stay fully invested. When they sell something off, they don't go to cash. They want to put it somewhere else. Once I figured that out, then my analysis became a lot better, and I was able to identify the rotation into AI infrastructure, drones, and space. Friday, nailed it. Nailed the bottom Friday, gave swing targets, and all the swing targets are hitting. But I just couldn't. I have trouble playing it because I see USO exploding. I mean, I don't know. It's just frustrating.
Yeah, you can't discount the effect on oil on the economy, and especially the international markets. And we have suppliers for a lot of our materials which rely on oil to make the AI industry continue in the tech industry. So you can't ignore that. You can't ignore the geopolitical effects. So
I wish I could. I'd be making a lot more money if I'd been ignoring it for the past month. But
hey Ben, check out your IWM paying off real well right now.
I know, but you know what? It's not like I'm up 14% with 0.38% allocation. It's like doing nothing for me. And I had IWM puts from yesterday, or from 2 days ago actually, which are still down. They expired some today, some tomorrow. I'm down like 44% and 94% on those respectively. So yeah, I'm not really making money overall in the IWM hedge right now, although the Oxy long is working. Those are my two hedges, and I added the gold as well.
So at times like this, let me ask you, Ben, do you feel like with this chop, it might not be better for some traders, and you could answer for yourself, is to play the precious metals gold, silver, and the indexes,
I
whether they think up or down, to kind of smooth out the edges.
Yeah, I mean, look, gold just broke above the 20 DMA, so I have not been playing it forever. I peeked at it here and there, but then when you mentioned it this morning, I saw above the 20 DMA. I got interested in that. I don't know. I don't fully understand all the dynamics around gold. Is difficult to understand the fundamentals and the catalyst and the sentiment. Pretty difficult one. It's very multifactorial, and but push comes to shove here, now above the 20 DMA. So I took a shot at it. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. But yeah, look, I've been basically in one way or another for the past this entire month. I've been having some sort of hedge every single day, whether it's IWM puts, QQQ puts, or USO calls, or Oxy calls, or just Oxy Common. I've had hedge almost every single day. But unfortunately, look at this. Like, I give you guys a 21 target on UMAC on Friday. I gave you that when this thing was 16. Did I hold it since Friday? No. Did I buy call options? No. What did I do instead? I like scalp it here and there every day. And then when it drops, I may get shaken out because I see like IWM crashing or oil popping. So all these great predictions kind of worth nothing for me right now. I'm really upset at myself. Look at this. It's going right to that 21 target. It's insane.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the UMAC
Insane.
on the daily, I mean, your call was premature, but not premature. It was
No,
early.
it was not premature. I was not early. I called it on Friday. Let's say Wednesday.
Yeah, but you called it.
Tuesday,
You
Monday,
called it when it was just bounced off the 200-day.
Yeah. I called it after on Friday when it bounced off, but I just
hadn't broken through the 50.
But that was the same day. Markets were like just absolutely imploding, and I just could, even though I understood.
I'm just saying. What I'm
you know.
saying is, then you should have held your ground then.
Yeah, no, but I can't disassociate. I have a very hard time reconciling being bullish in certain sector while at the same time being bearish on the macro. I have a very hard time reconciling the two in my mind. And
somebody just asked, so Angela wants to know about Netflix. We'll talk about Netflix.
We can talk about it. I haven't been tracking it. Let's see. I know. When did they have their earnings report? Let's see. Oh, they already had their earnings report, and it was a bad. Yeah, washed out. It was a bad earnings report. Right, it capitulated down there. I didn't listen to the conference call, but so I have no comments on it. I see it's in the gap right now, and $74. Actually, no, I would say you have resistance at about $71 first, then 74. But I have no opinion on it because I didn't look at that earnings call at all, really, other than seeing the headlines missed. You guys have thoughts on it?
Just a side note, I'm all out IWM puts at the moment. Just got all out of those. In terms for Netflix, let me check this out for the chart. Pull it over here. It's always going to be the flight to safety. That with Apple too, same thing. That Walmart.
Well, I'm bullish on Netflix here at the bottom. I think most of the damage has been done. I think Netflix is going to really, really rally through the next several months. Wow. And you're going to go into a good season with Netflix.
Did he take a look at the earnings report at all?
No, I did not. I was
not the best.
I was somewhere else at the time.
You're probably on a beach.
Yeah, literally, honestly, I really was. And I honestly, I'm not 100% back from total vacation. My daughter hasn't started school yet, so we're still
traveling. Nice.
No, not traveling. We're still vacationing, but we're not traveling anymore.
Like, look, I'm looking at the drone stocks here. So AVAX broke the 20 DMA. I got in AVAX. I played it yesterday. I'm trying to play it again. 20 DMA, but I'm gonna get shaken out right now. I can't do it. I'm gonna get shaken out because I see IWM dropping hard with oil pumping. I just can't do it. And then watch what happens.
Out of AV.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell it right now. I can't handle it. No matter what anyone tells me. Look, very good chance this thing goes to the 50 DMA in a few days.
Very good chance.
Same thing with AVEX to the 20 DMA, but I just cannot reconcile it. I cannot reconcile being long that when oil is so high and IWM's coming out. I can't do it. It's a very hard market for me. I can't. What am I gonna tell you? I just people who can reconcile that in their minds and kind of have a split mind and be like, yeah, war's not going great, oil's exploding, indices are below the key moving averages, there's a lot of risk to the downside on the macro, but I'm gonna go gung-ho on the drone sector. It's crazy because I give such convicted price targets on these, but I just can't play it. I just can't do it. Very sad. Someone's got to send me a psychologist or something. I'm selling AVEX too. I can't handle it. I can't handle seeing this IWM going down like this and being long a micro.
Wow, I got out a little too early. What are those?
Let me check
IWM?
Yeah.
Yeah, IWM.
All right, IWM puts. I'm up 28% on these ones here. Hold on.
Wow.
Somebody put the stopper in the bottom of that tub because she's flushing.
I left a lot of money on the table getting all out that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying not to trade it too much, right? Because this is a hedge for my longs, and I want to hold it in case we flush to 290 this week. That's kind of my thesis on IWM, or at least that's the reason I have the hedge. So here, I'm trying to trade around the core a little bit, so I'll sell some right here, and maybe I'll re-enter on a pop. But yeah, I need the protection. I can't get all out because I have too many longs. And of course there's all this SMCI and Dell news and data center news with OpenAI increasing their spend. So lots of bright spots here this morning. But I'm just kind of
Rubio just said he's over in Philippines at the ASEAN summit for Asian leaders. He just said that Iran is not serious, and says that
that was this morning.
Hope was it? I just see the note.
Unless he said it again, maybe he said it again.
They probably did. Yeah. But yeah, that hope is fading for peace talks, and everyone's bracing for higher oil. So there you go.
Yeah.
It's hard to have confidence when you get
Yeah.
And if you look at USO, I mean, sure, it popped up today, but it also rolled over.
Let's look at USO. I haven't looked at that in a bit.
It doesn't have strong direction.
It doesn't? I mean, I don't know about that. If you pull out, look at any time frame beyond a minute, and this thing.
Sure.
The thing that kind of got me really scared about the markets today is because oil, at least USO, hit the 50 DMA, but didn't pause. Gap just kept on going above the 50 DMA. So that kind of got me really worried about IWM, which is why I had the short IWM as a hedge idea for today.
But honestly, if you look at overnight and pre-market news, specifically when it comes to Iran and these geopolitical issues and oil and the Straits of Hormuz, you have to understand that a lot of that is negative news because it's not in the U.S. press cycle, media cycle, right? We're getting news from the other side of the world. So that tends to be a little bit negative right now. So be a little bit cautious with that, not so reactionary. Just my...
can you repeat that? I didn't fully understand your point. I think you're saying that in the Asian markets are more concerned about high oil than U.S. markets. Is that...
well, okay, that's also true because a lot of the Asian markets are just, they're solely dependent on, some of them 90% imported oil. No, what I'm saying is that the news cycle that comes in overnight and pre-market is heavily driven by the other side of the world, not driven by the U.S. press and our news cycle. So the markets are reacting overnight and pre-market based heavily, on the influence of Asian markets, Middle East markets, but at the same time, there's not the counter argument coming from the U.S., which then starts to happen when when that news cycle starts again early in the morning and we go into the market open and it settles. So I'm saying maybe don't be overreactionary with that overnight. It's a different game.
Right.
And I've talked about this before. There's like 4 different cycles
Yeah.
to the market, and that is heavily dominated by Asian. And then when Europe wakes up, then they respond, and then when America wakes up, then the administration goes to work, troubleshooting.
There it is. There's our target on UMAC. I sold it at 2060,
There you
and
go.
I only had small
Still
size.
holding.
Wow, you got to teach me how you got to teach me how you do that when you're seeing like IWM crashing, but you held for my target. That's just crazy. Good for you. I sold at 2060, and honestly, I wasn't even in the whole way. I was in and out twice because I was a little scared, and I didn't
Well, ask
have
me
big
when I
size.
bought it.
When did you buy it?
When this person, Ben at Story Trading, said, I think on Friday, he said, buy it. I literally didn't even look. I said, that's it. I'm waiting for the signals on drones, and that's it. And I have faith.
Oh
I
my
have faith in the process.
gosh, that's crazy. I don't have
I
faith in
swear.
my own
I
ideas.
swear. Yep.
No, the thing is, I do have faith in my own idea. I just got scared before the IWM and the oil. That's all. But it was it was an easy read on the drone sector and the targets. But I don't know.
Yeah, and
It's tough for me.
drones. I mean, just
Yes, IWM.
on the macro look, the long term, drones is a great play, great sector.
Yeah. Man, I only have.
And my neighbor just came down the street the other day, and he said, he's got a lot of money in the market, and we've talked about it. Unfortunately, he's not one of our subscribers, which I tried to convince him to be. But he comes up the other day, he goes, "Hey, I'm thinking about buying into this drone stock I'm here, but it's called AVAV," and I'm like, "Oh yeah," because they're going to be at the forefront with their latest technology even sooner, or sooner than later.
What, the laser
what I wanna say.
defense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big. And I hold this and laser in my long-term account.
And Anduro, you're in Anduro in the pre-IPO.
Yeah. Speaking of, how's ACHR doing? Anduro week over there. ACHR hit my target early and then pulled back.
The Thunder or the Thunder 5.
And there was a new product this morning with Anduril. Second product they announced with Anduril today for commercial use. Man, look at
a lot of
this.
comments from
Look
people
at
on
this.
drones. Yeah, drones are very volatile. You have to understand Trump family is involved in UMAC. So
yeah, that's why it's my favorite drone stock to play, and I own it long term. Well, I got my TZA 15% position. That's up. Look at this, guys. I'm really dumping right now.
Yeah. Oh.
So
what was that chart? I didn't even see that.
IWM.
It's IWM.
I'm just going to different time frames right now. I'm
there.
just
Oh,
different
okay.
time frames of IWM. Yeah.
That was...
Yeah.
Best look.
Yeah, SMCI keeps going up as the whole world is worried about high oil and interest rates and what it's doing to IWMs. I just can't do it. I just can't. That was other reasons why I didn't play SMCI. But even if I liked SMCI, even if I wasn't worried about their credibility, I probably would have just like scalped in and out once or twice and not held for the target at the 50 DMA because of what I'm seeing with IWM and oil. So yeah, it's just too hard of a market for me to execute on. I wish I could do what you did and just listen to me. I say hedge, like that's the whole purpose of hedge, is that you can hold on to your longs. But I can't even. I can't do it. Look at AMD on the Anthropic news. I added AMD in my long-term account in pre-market, so that's working. LPTH with some news doing well. Scalped it a little bit this morning. I'm out of it now. What else we got going on? Oh yeah, PENG. There's that follow through. That was a target I gave yesterday. 50 DMA. It hit it. I'm not in it, but I did sell short puts on it yesterday. And Shaz continuing. Leopold play. Wow, 20 DMA. This is looking up. looking to be explosive here.
Also, check out GLD. GLD is right here on the 5 minutes on the 20-day moving average.
Yep.
It's
You guys can
breaking. What do you say about GLD?
GLD at the 20-day moving average on the 5 minute.
20 period moving average on the 5 minute. Yeah, but what's your point? You think it's a good buy here?
I think so. I think we could see a pop. Maybe just ride it up, pulling back here to get a move back to the upside.
I look at Chaz high of day, big candle right there right now. TSSI near the high of day, moving on the Dell TSS SMCI news. Oil pumping, Oxy pumping. Have not sold any of my Oxy yet. Unfortunately, I didn't do calls. Only in common shares. Oh, well, it pays. Wow, paying pretty well at a 15% allocation I got overnight. IWM. So I got some nice hedges on. I got the Oxy, I got the TZA, but I don't have too many IWM puts. I banked on QQQ puts so big Friday. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Red, I agree with you on GLD. We're right here at the VWAP.
Yep.
On the 1 minute and the 5 minute. If we pop again that, I think we're going to see another $1 to $2 run.
All right, I'm gonna add a few more calls. I'm in Monday's 387. Just added a few more. Look at IWM. Look at that. 21 target. Hit it within 5 cents. Pulling back. ONDS 850 target. Missed it by 10 cents. Pulling back. I did sell actually 75% of my Rocket Lab calls that I held overnight. So I only have a few contracts left. I do want to play this again into the earnings report. Look how low that RSI is. I think Rocket Lab is going to make its way over to look at the weekly chart. Maybe like within a week after earnings, I think this thing might be $90. So actually, usually I don't make earnings bets. I might make an exception and make an earnings bet on Rocket Lab. Very bullish on that situation there. Reddit didn't work for me.
Ben, what do you think about a lot of these stocks that have used to be and probably still are crypto miners, but now have gone into AI data, like at Riot and Keel and Cypher and Iron?
I'm not an expert in those areas. That's not. We gotta get Godfather. He was such an expert in that sector, and we made a ton of money. We were so early on that whole shift on these crypto miners to AI data centers. I think what was that first big one we made a ton of money on?
CORZ.
CORZ. So CRZ, we made a ton of money on that, and then NBIS also, but we missed a lot as a community. I think we didn't really capture the big upside in Wolf and Cypher and some of the others, because Godfather went on vacation and he hasn't come back yet.
It's hard to come back from vacation.
His the resident expert in that sector in our community.
Yeah, he was. You're buying cores at like $9 and $10. So
how much is it now? I made a ton on cores. That was my
24.
Yeah,
30.
That was one of my biggest winners of 2025 was cores.
But they still look good. Riot, Keel, Cypher, Iron, Hut.
Yeah. Keel's what I'm hearing a lot about. It's gaining a lot of social media love lately. Look at this. Oxy continuing to go up and to the right. IWM continuing to go down here. I have a 290 target potentially. So I'm not really like selling these puts yet too much. I'm actually down overall because 2 days ago I bought 292 puts expiring today. So those are like worthless. I'm down big on that. So overall I'm down on this play right now. Look at that big candle right now in IWM. Wow, that's a big candle. Green candle. 633,000. How many dollars is that? 633,000 times 300. 600,000 times 300. That's $180 million. Someone just put $180 million in IWM, and it's going down still.
see what else.
GLD. I don't know. Do I bail on that ad I just had? Not working here.
I just bailed on it, so we'll see. It could bounce. Now that I sold, watch it bounce.
My size is small enough. I'm going to hold it. I'm at 0.4% allocation to expire Monday. I'll give it a chance. But yeah, I absolutely hate this market. Ever since the SpaceX IPO, it's just the market has been so emotional. It's so extreme in its rotations and its swings from sector to sector. And I don't know. I don't like that. I like stability. Will we ever get stability back in the markets where it's like just kind of slow and boring every day and the indices are just kind of boring and then that way like stocks kind of react individually on their own instead of like hundreds of billions of dollars flowing into and out of sectors on, like decided by some, guy in the back room. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Are we ever going to get back to like
there's this move to this thing called AI, artificial intelligence, and that is going to come and bring a whole lot of volatility.
I mean, we have a whole lot. It's going to get worse. My God.
Yeah. Of course, because they're going to move harder and faster with bigger commitments than you or I, a human, can do individually. So you're going to be following. You'll be chasing or riding, like we talked earlier.
All right, I'm taking some profits here, trying to trade around the core on IWM puts just because I see QQQ really pumping, and maybe that's going to drag IWM up a little bit.
Eric Andarza asked about, do you have any thoughts about, I know you hate this question, but do you have any thoughts on earnings for IBM and Google today?
IBM pre-announced, right, really bad earnings revenue. So I'm not going to make a bet on it going in. I'll look at it. We are live streaming IBM, Google, Tesla this afternoon and ServiceNow. So we'll look at it. If you look at the chart here, you have support at the 200-week moving average. That might be a magnet in after hours. I mean, I don't think anything they report's not really going to be a surprise. And it'll be maybe the algo will be a negative headline, obviously, since they pre-announced. So I don't know. Maybe the algos will take it right to that 200-week moving average in after hours. I don't own IBM. I own Google and Tesla for the long term, and in my long term account, I don't worry about earnings reports. I just hold right through the earnings report. So I'm holding Google and Tesla through the earnings reports. In my and I don't own ServiceNow. I know you didn't ask me about that, but these are the 4 that's on my radar for today. So in my short term trading account, I hardly ever. I do sometimes, but I would say 95% of the earnings reports I look at, I do not make bets going into the reports. I go in with no position, and I have all my estimates ready. If it's a company I'm really familiar with, there's a couple other metrics I may be looking for, and then I'll just react fast. If I either like what I see or if I hate what I see, I might short it. So short-term account, no, I don't have an opinion. They're on my radar. I like the company's long-term. Short-term account, I'm going to react. Or maybe I won't react at all. But if I do something, it'll be after the reports tonight on Google.
All right. How'd you guys do today?
I am doing okay. I'm kind of like flat right now for the day.
Pretty good. Got chopped up there in GLD, but good.
I'm going to retire my mouse. I've gotten it. What do you call that when you dip it in gold and set it to the side? It's going to be on my mantle now.
That's the Goldfinger approach, right? Just cover it in gold paint.
Exactly. My wife and I just got back from a trip. We were in Thailand and we were at the James Bond Island, the man with the golden gun.
Yeah,
I'll show you this picture. It's great. Yeah. So
I would love to see that. That's a great. That's actually an underrated Bond flick from the Roger Moore era, if you ask me. All right, guys, really good stuff here today. Have a great rest of your week. We'll catch you next week.
Awesome.
Take care, guys.
Sounds good. See you guys.
Ben, Rhett, and Laptop Travel, and he is traveling. Wow. Good stuff there. All right, folks, we are done here for today. We're going to have the drift coming up right after this. Just sit tight. I'm going to send you right over there. Have a good rest of your Wednesday. Big earnings today. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about it. Have a good rest of your day, folks.